कोई वर्ड का है करता सॉरी पूरा फुल ब्लड टाइप डिस्टेंस के कारण इधर से ठीक दिखता है इधर से ब्लड दिखता है वो डिस्टेंस के कारण वो शेडोज वाली ऐसे कम दिखाते हैं वो दिखाई नहीं देते कांट पड़ा तो यो जूम हाँ ये थोड़ा थोड़ा बड़ा 100 को 100 है कोई कमी कर रहा है हाँ देखा ये ब्लर दिख रहा है ना ये भी है ये देखो ब्लर दिख रहा है मुझे सही ठीक है देखो बड़ा वाला एक्सेट भी है बस बोलेंगे फाइल हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम It appears from this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam that the sun is the source of light for all the planets in the universe. The modern scientific theory, which states that there are many suns in each universe, is not supposed by this verse supported. Yes. Not correct. We're not connecting. Vaibhav. What will happen? Clearly, it's not.
Recording in progress.
Sharing. Yeah. Sharing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. So, Goswami Stakam, text 7 and 8. Radha Kunda Tate Kalinda Tanaya Tere Chavam Shivate प्रेमोन्मादवशादशेषदशया ग्रस्तो प्रमत्तो सदा गायन्तो च कदा हरेर्गुणवरम् भावाभिभूतो मुदा वन्दे रूपसनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीवगोपालको हे राधे व्रज देविके चललिते हे नंद शूनो कुता श्री गोवर्धन कल्पपाद पतले कालिंदिवने कुतः हो शान्ताविति सर्वतो व्रजपुरे खेदैर्महाविह्वलो वन्दे रूपसनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीवगोपालको वन्दे रूपसनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीवगोपालको Please read the translations.
Starting. Sir, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who were sometimes on the bank of the Radhakunda lake or the shores of the Yamuna, and sometimes at Vamshivata. There they appear just like madmen in the full ecstasy of love for Krishna, exhibiting different transcendental symptoms in their bodies, and they were merged in the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are chanting very loudly everywhere in Vrindavana, shouting, Queen of Vrindavana, Radharani, O Lalita, O son of Nanda Maharaj, where are you all now? Are you just on the hill of Govardhana, or are you under the trees on the bank of the Yamuna? Where are you? These were their modes in executing Krishna consciousness.
श्री षड गोस्वामी प्रभुगण की जय, श्री सनातन गोस्वामी पाद की जय। मम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरों श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साधुवैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतिषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। पांडुरंग शरण प्रभु, लाइट चालू है गाड़ी की, आपकी कार की लाइट चालू है, बंद कर दो। वी आर सो एक्साइटेड। आप म्यूट हैं बट वी कैन स्टडी योर लिप्स मूवमेंट।
थैंक यू प्रभुजी, हैप्पी गुरु पूर्णिमा एंड
आवाज नहीं आ रहा, बड़ा
blessed to hear by you.
साउंड इज नॉट कमिंग
Hare
बट वी आर
Krishna.
एक्साइटेड। यू आर सिटिंग इन द ड्राइवर सीट एंड स्टिल enthusiastic to attend the class.
Not driving, Prabhuji, not driving. Some other devotees
अच्छा,
driving.
ड्राइवर उधर है?
They are in school. I came out from school for.
ठीक है, ठीक।
I'll not be driving.
ओके ओके, नहीं, you can drive also.
No. Fortune to hear on Guru Purnima day from you, Prabhu.
Thank you for joining in spite of such huge, excitingly busy engagements and spreading the mission of Mahaprabhu. I really give these classes for my own benefit. I don't know what time service I'm able to do to all of you, but to please Rukmini Vallabh Prabhu and to reduce his anxiety, because at times he doesn't get any better person. So he puts me as a stepney. I say on the stepney in the car. I know you stay behind, and if need be, then you can use for some time like that.
Our fortune, Prabhuji, our fortune.
So we are continuing our discussion from Canto 3 and Chapter 15, which will continue today, and then also cover chapter number 16, hopefully. So just again to give you an overview of what's happening. Yesterday we discussed about the chapter description of the kingdom of God. And it's a very, very interesting, wonderful chapter. Srila Prabhupada said one should be captivated by this information and should desire to transfer oneself there. And desire to go to spiritual world and desire to enjoy in the material world both cannot simultaneously go well together. So that is why through the process of Shravanam, the more we hear about the abode of the Lord, about the beauty of the Lord, about the qualities of the Lord, and about the pastimes of the Lord, then more we start actually transferring our consciousness there. So physically we may be here, but as it is often said, you are where your mind is. So gradually through the process of Shravanam, we transfer our mind's thinking, feeling, and willing to that world. And we understand this is just a temporary place. Srila Prabhupada gives an example that just like some businessman is traveling in the car, so he definitely has a good car, he has a chauffeur, driver to drive it. But while sitting in the car, although it is his car, but his meditation is not on the car. What is his thought? His thought is of the business. He's operating on his laptop, he's making phone calls, talking to people. Although he does the needful for the car, but he's not attached to the car. His thought is absorbed in expanding his business to earn money, to earn wealth. Or another example, sometimes we travel in the, taxi or train or flight. So while we are there, we have our boarding pass, we have our ticket, and we are taking advantage of that facility. But we know it's a temporary phase. We are not like, trying to really absorb into taking care of all the details of it. Even if there's some little inconvenience, little bit. Sometimes you get window seats, sometimes non-window seats, sometimes children are crying sometimes in the night also. Train sometimes in the night children cry. Or something happens. Fine. We know that it's a journey. That's not our destination. So it's only possible when, by the power of our hearing, Krishna Katha, we develop deep attachment and deep faith in the existence of the spiritual world, and we develop some attraction towards the Lord and His beauty and His qualities and pastimes, that we can regard this world as temporary, as non-important. Till the time that doesn't happen, no matter how much we know by knowledge that material world is not a permanent place, that feeling will not get transferred. And to transfer that feeling to the transcendental realm, Shravanam is the most important thing. And Shravanam of what? Shravanam of Srimad Bhagavatam, because it is a katha between Lord and His devotees. The Lord's nature and His qualities, His form is being beautifully described here. So, in this chapter, description of the kingdom of God, we discussed how when Diti became pregnant, Devatas are approaching Brahmaji, asking him about what is happening, why the world is covered with darkness. And Devatas glorify Brahmaji as a Gunavatar. And after that, Brahmaji narrated the story about the two sons entering Diti's womb, and it started how four Kumaras, Vigata Spraha, by their own desire, they were just roaming and they reached the spiritual world. And then the description of Vaikuntha is being given by Brahmaji. And the prime quality is that nobody is envious, everybody is appreciative there. That is the main thing. The main quality of the material world is it's based on envy. Prabhupada says that in the first canto, first chapter. I think this verse where it comes, no? Nirma Saranam Satam, there it comes. The entire existence of the material world is because of envy. So when there is a desire for sense gratification, there is bound to be envy. So desire for sense gratification and envy go well together. But only when there is desire to serve, then only one can become non-envious. Because one sees that there is no competition. The Lord is unlimited. There is nothing to fear about it. And the Lord is Bhavagrahi. Lord is not depending on any object or anything. So there is nothing to become envious of anyone else. Even in our society, there's a lot of competition, envy goes on over region, area, preaching. Actually, there are unlimited conditions. So 140 crore population is there. Even in one city, if you make 10 temples, still, if you're a good preacher, they will fall short because so many people are there. Any temple, any center, how much can you connect? Like now we have NVC, a big temple. How many people? 5,000? Population of Pune is 1 CR. 5,000, what is 5,000? Even if you're a temple 1 kilometer away, there's nothing to fear. But because of material calculations and, material inclination, sometimes there's so much of competition among the members of the community and society also, because all of us are not yet at the pure devotee level. Radheshyam Prabhu has been an exceptional person who has been able to make, collaborations with, so many temples and supply them devotees, and the devotees, he has trained them to surrender to the local authority and not to divide it, but to unite, and a lot of hard work. It's very remarkable service what he has been able to do. Very remarkable. One college he has been, kind enough that okay, 2 groups can preach, including COP. BCC is preaching and Kunjari Temple is preaching. Warangal also. Pune is preaching and Sadhvi Gaurampur is preaching. Otherwise, it's just, that the conditioned soul is always attached to possession and position. Doesn't have the right disposition, but is attached to position. So it want to occupy. Okay, you occupy. Well, can you stop the Ritviks to come? You may say that, okay, no other ISKCON temple will come. What about Ritvik? You may say no ISKCON center should come within the 10 kilometers of the vicinity. And the Ritvik people take the building next to your building. What can you do? So it's just mental thing. If we feel we are strong enough to not allow someone, we will not allow. And if we feel we have no right, then we will just surrender. Very, narrow-mindedness. So, whatever may be the situation, we can do our best by following in the footsteps of Mahajans, by following Srimad Bhagavatam and setting the right example. See, one person, Srila Prabhupada, how much impact he created on the world? Now, thousands of Rath Yatras are happening within 50 years. So much so the Jagannath Puri administration has to take note of it and say that all Rath Yatras should happen one day only. I mean, it takes a lot. And the Chief Minister of Bengal, this is Mamata Banerjee, she handed over the whole temple to ISKCON. Diga temple, you all know, no? You heard about it. The replica of Jagannath temple. Beautiful campus, all made by government money. And just handed over. We, for a small center construction, we collect so much money, but then when Lord wishes, same Bengal where nobody heard Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada could not preach so much in Bengal. Bengal is a tough nuts. Just see the influence of Srila Prabhupada. One man could do so much. And then you can see one Maharaja, how much they have done. More than 1 lakh initiated devotees. Bangladesh, so much Bhakti. 125 Rath Yatras in Bangladesh. In this situation, when the whole world is saying Bangladesh is going bad, this and that. So Bhakti is not to be stopped by any external means. If we have the right motivation, if the right purity, Krishna helps and everything falls in place. It is beyond the power of, human strength to stop Krishna consciousness movement. It is limited only by our lack of proper consciousness, not by external arrangements. Otherwise, everything is possible. There's no limitation to that. So, Vaikuntha is free from envy. And first we have to make our heart Vaikuntha by becoming free from envy individually. Then we can influence others to get freed from envy, but that's a bigger disease. And then all the, beautiful trees and plants and flower plants and the birds and the plains, people, Mother Lakshmi, they all are described in that. And then who can not attain Vaikuntha? That is being described. Those who are interested in hearing subject matter other than Harikatha, such people go to hell and they can't enter. And who is qualified to enter? Those whose bodies show ecstatic symptom arising due to attachment to Harikatha. Simple. Hear Harikatha, become eligible to go back to Godhead. We have other subject matter, then we go to hell. Such a simple criteria there. And then after the Kumara reached Vaikuntha, they saw all of it. Then they passed through the 6 gates, and the 7th gate they found Jay and Vijay. And Jay and Vijay, they became very upset, saying that these people are not asking us, they are small kids. They were not sure whether they are Brahmanas or not. So they stopped them. And the four Kumaras became very angry because they thought that in Vaikuntha, Lord has no enemy. The Vaikuntha is a place free from envy and enemies. Who can enter Vaikuntha? Somebody has entered Vaikuntha, that means he's already freed, he's already developed all the good qualities. He's a devotee of the Lord. And these people, it looks like Atmavar Manyata Jagat, because these people are imposters. These people are duplicate. They have somehow or other cheatingly entered Vaikuntha and assumed the role of guards of the Lord's gate. That's why these people are cheaters. So we should rectify the situation. Their mentality is not suitable to the mentality of Vaikunthavasi. Their mentality of discrimination is suitable to the mentality of people on this earth. So let us curse them to go to earthly planet. So Kumara's curse Jay and Vijay, and immediately Jay and Vijay becomes very humble. They become fearful and they fall at the feet of the Kumaras and they say that let your punishment bear fruit, let your sharp root bear fruit, but let us not lose the memory of the Lord. And now, Lord, hearing the commotion, Lord arrives here along with Mother Lakshmi. And after that, Lord will arrive and the Kumaras will offer prayers to the Lord in this chapter. And then in the next chapter, the Lord will apologize to Kumaras. He will glorify the Brahmanas. And after glorifying the Brahmanas, then Kumaras will reply to Lord Narayan. The four Kumaras will again negate everything what Lord has said. Lord will glorify the Brahmanas, but the four Kumaras will actually glorify the Lord and say that what you are saying is your kindness, but it is not true. And after that, Lord will reconcile the situation because he is glorifying Brahmanas are not agreeing. He will reconcile the situation, saying that this situation is arranged by me. And then finally, Brahmaji will continue to reply to demigod, saying that this is a story, but why it happened, don't ask me. What is the solution? Don't ask me. I just told you what it is. I don't have a solution, just accept, because it is all happening by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. So many things happen by the arrangement of the Lord, which we just need to know, accept, and appreciate, and live through it. So, like that, Brahmaji will reconcile, and Krishna willing, we will complete. If not, we have tomorrow's day to reconcile everything, whatever may remain. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukam karoti vachalam pangham langhayate girim. Yat kripat tamaham vande Shri Guru Dina Taranam. Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So now there are 5 verses which are describing the unlimited sweetness of the Lord. Rupa Madhuri, beauty of the Lord. Tam tvagatam pratiharapi yakam sapumbhis. Te chakshataksha vishayam sasamadhi bhagyam. Hamsa shriyor vajnanayor shivavayulola. Shubhrata patra shashikeshara shekarambam.
The sages, headed by Sanaka Rishi, saw that Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who was formerly visible only within their hearts in ecstatic trance, had now actually become visible to their eyes. As he came forward, accompanied by his own associates, bearing all paraphernalia such as an umbrella and a chamara fan, the white bunches of hair moved very gently, like 2 swans, and due to their favorable breeze, the pearls garlanding the umbrella also moved, like drops of nectar falling from the white full moon or ice melting due to the gust of wind.
So here, the paraphernalia and the associates, they are being described. So, Sanakadi Rishi, they were meditating on the form of the Lord inside previously, but now he has become visible to their eyes. Like we sing for Jagannath, no? Jagannatha Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me. Become an object of my vision. So there was umbrella and chamar fan, and chamara fan has the white hair. It was moving gently like the two swans. Two swans move. Chamara looked like swan. And then the umbrella was there which has white pearls hanging. So because of that wind, the motion of the chamara, the pearls were also moving as if they are compared to nectar falling from the white full moon or ice melting due to gust of wind. So it's a beautiful scene, Brahmaji describing, and through Brahmaji, Sukadeva Goswami describing. So in this verse, we find the word Achakshataksha Vishayam. The Supreme Lord cannot be seen by ordinary eyes, but he now became visible to the eyesight of the Kumaras. Another word is Samadhi Bhagyam. Meditators who are very fortunate can see the Vishnu form of the Lord within their heart by following the yogic process. But to see him face to face is a different matter. This is possible only for pure devotees. So the four Kumaras, they were first time seeing the Lord, and they were struck with wonder. Till now, they were meditating on the impersonal feature of the Lord. But by seeing the personal feature of the Lord, they become totally astounded. They become totally attracted to that. So, for ordinary person, the Lord is not visible. However, when one can understand the significance of His holy name and one engages in devotional service, starting with chanting and tasting prasad, the Lord reveals Himself. What is the verse? Atha Shri Krishna Namadi, na bhavet grahayam indriya, sevan mukho, jivva ado, swayame spurtyata. Seva unmukh, one becomes eager to render service, starting with tongue, by tasting prasad and chanting the holy name. Swayame spurti ada. Then the Lord reveals Himself. Thus the devotee constantly sees the Lord within his heart. Santah sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti, in the hridaya. And in a more mature stage, one can see the same Lord directly as we see everything else. Yeah. And further, the sweetness of His mercy and form were realized by heart and eye by everyone present there. Next, please. Together, no? Krishna prasad sumukham sraniya dhama snehaloka kalaya disam srushantam shame prathava urashi savitaya shrishvas Shunamani subhagayantam ivatmadishnyam.
The Lord is the reservoir of all pleasure. His auspicious presence is meant for everyone's benediction, and his affectionate smiling and glancing touch the core of the heart. The Lord's beautiful bodily color is blackish, and his broad chest is the resting place of the goddess of fortune, who glorifies the entire spiritual world, the summit of all heavenly planets. Thus, it appeared that the Lord was personally spreading the beauty and good fortune of the spiritual world.
Yeah, so he is Raso Vaisa, Lord is the reservoir of all pleasure. And when he appeared, he was there for benedicting everyone. The affectionate smile glanced the core of the heart. Then his color is blackish, broad-chested. So many places there's a description of the beauty of the Lord as we were describing. Whenever and wherever the Lord appears in Bhagavatam, always there will be appreciation, glorification of his form and his activities. And then finally the devotees will pray what do they want. That's etiquette. So Lord was not displeased with anyone. He was pleased with everyone. That's why it said Krishna Prasad Sumukham. So he knew that offensive doormen were his pure devotee, although by chance they commit and they committed an offense. Now here's something very interesting, Prabhupada, right? That offense against a pure devotee is just like a mad elephant offense. Mad elephant enters a garden and tramples. Similarly, an offense unto the feet of a pure devotee murders. This word is very significant. Prabhupada's words are sometimes says an offense unto the feet of pure devotee murders one's position in devotional service. Now, murder is something quite heavy and quite graphic. It reminds of the movies, when somebody murders someone. On the part of the Lord, there was no offended mood because he does not accept any offense created by sincere devotee. But a devotee should be very cautious of committing offenses at the feet of another devotee. So Lord, being equal to all, especially inclined to his devotee, looked as mercifully at the offenders as at the offended. He looked at both. And this attitude of the Lord was due to his unlimited quantity of transcendental qualities. He is Gunanidhi. Gunanidhi means the ocean of all good qualities. His cheerful attitude toward the devotee was so pleasing and heart-touching that his very smile was attractive for them. So Lord appeared and Lord, adjusted the situation. There was a lot of tension. There was a lot of tension. They offended and they cursed, and then they were in anxiety, and four Kumaras were wondering whether we did the right thing or wrong thing. Finally, whatever we have cursed the servant of the great master. So whether master be happy or unhappy with us. So Lord came with a beautiful smile and pacified the situation. That only Lord can do. Any typical manager will get into whirlpool. In this verse, the word Sphrinya Dham indicates that the Lord is the reservoir of all pleasure because he has all the transcendental qualities. So the Lord is so kind that he gives shelter to both impersonalists and the devotees. In impersonal Brahman effulgence, he gives shelter to the impersonalist, and Vaikuntha Loka he gives shelter to his devotee. He is especially inclined to his devotee. He touches the core of the heart of the devotee simply by smiling and glancing over them. So the smiling and glancing of the Lord is remembered very fondly by the devotees of Vrindavan, especially gopis. In Gopi Gita, you'll find several verses that Madhuraya Gira Valguvakya Pushkare Kshana. Anyway, that is so basically they glorify the talks of the talk and the beautiful smile. Prahasitam Priyam Prema Vikshanam Viharanam Chate Dhyanam, like multiple verses, because that is a meditation of the devotees. Like an ordinary person remembers the smile of his child or his beloved. So similarly, the devotee are in actual romance with the Lord. They remember Lord's form, Lord's beauty, and Lord's decorations, Lord's qualities, what talks happened like that. So, yeah, let's go ahead. And then it talks about the Vaikuntha planet where they are situated. They're at the upper planet limit of the universe. The spiritual world is situated beyond the universe. Therefore, it is said, spiritual world Vaikuntha Loka is the summit of all planetary system. Next verse, 40. Pitam sukhe pratunitam vinivispurantya kanchalya bhir virutaya vanamalaya cha valgo prakoshta valayam vinata sutam se vinyastahastamitarena dunanam abjam.
He was adorned with a girdle that shone brightly on the yellow cloth covering his large hips, and he wore a garland of fresh flowers, which was distinguished by humming bees. His lovely wrists were graced with bracelets, and he rested one of his hands on the shoulder of Garuda, his carrier, and twirled a lotus with another hand.
There's another Krishna darshan also very similar where this verse is there. Vinyastahasta itarena dunanmubjam. Same line is there. In Krishna Lila? Okay, because we are not on folio, no? Let me just show you that. Somebody remember this? Shyamam hiranya pardhim vanamalya barham dhatu pravala natavesha. Actually, I have not remembered for a long time. Let's see. Where it says, Vinyastahasta itarena. This is the pastime when Krishna has been, there in the forest and he's asking the Gopas to get some prasadam from the Brahmanas, Yagik Brahmanas. The Yagik Brahmanas, they are very proud, so they don't do that. They don't give any prasad to the Lord. But then when they go to the wives of the Yagik Brahmanas, that time then they come running. And that is the time when they see this. Yeah, here it is. When they see Krishna, then they see him with his hand on Balaram, and then they see his beautiful form here. Let me share it. It's good to connect to verses in Krishna Lila, then you can remember Krishna. Yeah, okay, let's recite together. श्यामं हिरण्यपर्धिं वनमाल्यबर्ह धातु प्रवाल नटवेशमनुवृतांसे विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धुनानुअब्जं कर्णोत्पलालककपोलमुखाब्जहासम्. Is the translation?
His complexion was dark blue and his garment golden, wearing a peacock feather, colored minerals, springs of flower birds, and a garland of forest flowers and leaves. He was dressed just like a dramatic dancer. He rested one hand upon the shoulder of a friend, and with the other plumed a lotus. Lilies graced his ears, his hair hung down over his cheeks, and his lotus-like face was smiling.
So Vinyastamhasta itarena dhunanu abjam. Same thing. But then Krishna and Narayana, you can see the difference, contrast in the beauty. Complexion is dark for both, garment is golden for both. But here, what is this? Peacock feather is there, colored mineral are there, a sprig of flower birds are there, garland of forest flowers, and dramatic dancer. While Narayan Vishnu is like royal, not like a dramatic dancer, he's royal in that. So they are the same person, but the moods are different. But I quoted this because this is same line you can find. Vinyastahastamitarena dhunanamapcham. Same thing you find here. Yeah. Vinyastamastamitarena dhunanamapcham. Yes, find it here. So Vishwanath Thakur says that in the heart, lotus hearts of the four Kumaras, the impersonal realization was fixed up. And by twirling, then Lord is shaking that. So he's asking them, since you're fixed in the bliss of impersonal realization, convinced that this is the best, why do you disturb your hearts? Because they become agitated by seeing that beauty. Why don't you steady yourself? Do not give up your steadiness in Brahman. In this way, jokingly, with them it's suggested. So you were twirling the lotus, and in that way he was twirling the lotus-like heart of the four Kumaras, where impersonal realization was seated. And in that case, when Krishna is twirling, he also, the heart of the Yagyapatnis, that is like that lotus, he's twirling them, twisting them. So, here's the full description of the personality of Godhead as personally experienced by the sages. All these features are very, very beautiful and attractive for the devotees. He rested one hand on Garuda and twirled a lotus flower. Many cases you can find. Another place where he rests one hand on Garuda, famous example. Prathu Maharaj. When he came to see Prathu Maharaj, he was so overwhelmed by seeing the qualities of Prathu Maharaj. He was not able to balance himself, it is said. So he took, support of Garuda to balance himself. Like that. Yeah, okay, next one. Vidyutshipan makara kundala mandanara Gandasthalondha samukham manimata kiritam Dordanda shanda vivare harata parardhya Harena kandargatena chakostubhena.
His countenance was distinguished by cheeks that enhanced the beauty of his alligator-shaped pendants, which outshone lightning. His nose was prominent, and his head was covered with a gem-studded crown. A charming necklace hung between his stout arms, and his neck was adorned with the gem known by the name Kaustubha.
Krishna also wear a Kaustubh gem. But here he says that his head was covered with a gem-studded crown, kirita. And there it was Varaha Pidam. Peacock feather is there, and there's a difference in that. You can see Balaji having a big crown and Vrindavan Chandra sharing a pagdi. That is the difference. And here the beauty of the countenance on the face and the cheeks, which is further beautified by the alligator shaped pendant. Alligator means makara. So makara sometimes means crocodile also, sometimes fish also. Crocodile also is the same shape, na? Makara kundala is. So that we already discussed yesterday how the kundala, the earrings are one of the most beautiful ornaments of the Lord's face. So there's no purport to that. I'm just going ahead with that. But this is all describing the Rupa Madhuri, the beauty of the Lord. Why so much? Every time we read, we should know that this is real and what we are attracted to is unreal. The greatest problem for the conditioned soul in the material world is attraction towards the beauty of the opposite sex. If one tries to go away from that beauty without finding a superior beauty, that will not be possible. That will not be successful. One can forget the beauty of the opposite sex only by being attracted to the beauty of the transcendental Lord. We saw that also in the case of Dhanurdas or others. Now the Goswamis we just read today, yesterday, they have given us everything. But what they are doing? Tyaktva turnam ashesha mandalapati shrenim sada tuchhavat bhutvadin ganeshaka karunaya gopina gantashita. But Gopi Bhav Rasamritabdi Lahari Kallola Magnamahun, they are also into diving into the ecstatic ocean of emotions of the Gopi Bhav, the Lord. So that is higher taste. Param Drishtva Nivartate. Param Drishtva basically means the superior beauty of the Supreme Lord in the deity form. So the purpose of Lord's coming, appearing in the form of the deity is to actually attract the attention of the jiva by his beauty. In the six opulences, the beauty and the compassion of the Lord, kindness of the Lord, they are the main. Others are around them. They are called Angi. They are the Angi and others are the Angas. So Shri, in the six opulences, Shri. Shri means beauty of the Lord also and compassion of the Lord also. So these two qualities, beauty and compassion, they are the main qualities. Others are like fame, strength, wealth. They are all secondary. Shri, beauty and compassion, they are the main qualities. And that is how the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami, also has been attracted by these two qualities. The first verse he heard is the verse recited by the gopis about the beauty of the Lord. That's what he heard from the woodcutters. And then, just like the four Kumaras, they are also, attached to the impersonal concept. So Sukadeva Goswami was also like that. So when he heard that, they saw the beauty, he heard the beauty. But then his whole conception of impersonalism became very shaken up. What was that verse? Varaha Pidam Natvar Vapu. Same Natvar Vapu. There and here also. Varaha Pidam Natvar Vapu Karnayo Karnikaram. Vibradvasah Kanaka Kapisham Vajayantim Chamala. Randran Venu Swaner Gope. Apuren Gopa Vrinde. Vrindaranyam Sapadaramanam Pravishadah Gita Kirti. When he heard that, the beauty, all his impersonal concept was bewildered by that. So impersonal concept is much higher than getting attracted toward the mundane beauty of the world. It is much higher. But then such kind of Atma Ramas also, such kind of people who are attracted to the impersonal, they also get attracted by the Itham Bhutam Gunayan Hari. Atma Ramas is Manayo. That Atma Ramas also get attracted. So when he heard of the beauty, he was attracted. But the question was whether such a beautiful person will be kind to me, whether he'll accept me. Then immediately the second verse he heard. What is that verse? Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jigam sayapyayas pisadan leve gatim dhatyu chitam tatonyam kamva dayalum sharanam brajeham. When he heard kamva dayalu sharanam brajeham, he can deliver the putra, then what to he? Two verses sufficient. Sukadeva Goswami to change his entire conception. And here the four Kumaras also, this section is very important. How Lord's beauty is so powerful. Transform the four Kumaras. Even before Lord started speaking, the four Kumaras were totally amazed, totally transformed with that. Okay, next verse. अत्रोपसृष्टिमिति चोत्सिमम् इन्द्रियाय स्वानां धिया विरचितं बहुशास्त्रिवाद्यम् मह्यं भवस्य भवतां च भजन्तमङ्गम् नेमुर्निरीक्षण वितृप्ततृषो मुदाके. The exquisite beauty of Narayana, being many times magnified by the intelligence of his devotees, was so attractive that it defeated the pride of the goddess of fortune in being the most beautiful. My dear demigods, the Lord who thus manifested himself is worshipable by me, by Lord Shiva, and by all of you. The sages regarded him with unsated eyes and joyously bowed their heads at his lotus feet. So, even goddess of fortune was there, but Lord Narayana looking more beautiful than Mother Lakshmi. Prabhupada said, when in Vrindavan, Radharani is more beautiful than Krishna. So, because devotees want to see. So Lord want to reciprocate with his devotees. So four Kumaras were attracted to Lord Narayan, so he was looking more beautiful than Radharani. But in Vrindavan, devotees want to see Radharani more beautiful than Shyam Sundar. So Radharani looks more beautiful there. And the sages were seeing him with unsated eyes. You have seen that photo, no? Somebody is at the feet and somebody is seeing, and they're all like in the bewildered position, the four of them. Yeah. In other words, the beauty of goddess of fortune is secondary in presence of the Lord. Lord is Madan Mohan, but here it is also described that Lord sometimes become mad after the beauty of Radharani, and that is called enchanted with the beauty of Radharani, and it's called it says here. Devotees in Gokul or Krishna want to see Radharani as more beautiful than Krishna. The Lord is Bhakta Vatsalya, therefore he assumes such feature which pleases devotee. So, when the sweetness of the Lord's body produced in them a level of astonishment much higher than the bliss of Brahman, it penetrated them what can be said. Now, another level. Till now they were seeing with the eyes, trying to observe the beauty of the Lord, the features of the Lord, and the nose, the face, the feet, the limbs, the ornaments, everything. Now what happens? Something goes inside them. And this is one of the very, very beautiful verses often memorized by many devotees. तस्यारविन्दनयनस्य पदारविन्द किञ्जल्कमिश्र तुलसी मकरन्द वायु अन्तर्गत सुविवरेण चकार तेषां संक्षोभवम् अक्षरजुषाम् अपि चित्ततन्वो. When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the toes of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead enter the nostrils of those sages, they experience a change both in body and in mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. Sankshobhavam means they got agitated for the change. Aksharjusham, Akshar, there are many Akshardham. They want to go to Akshardham. Akshardhams are there. Akshardham, and they were Aksharjusam, they were attached to impersonal Brahman. So, Sankshobhayam Chitta Tanvo, body and mind. Chitta means mind, Tanvo means body. So, when this Tulasi mixed with saffron was applied to the lotus feet of the Lord, and then Makaranda Vayu, that air, breeze, which carried that fragrance from the Tulasi mixed with saffron at the lotus feet of the lotus-eyed Lord. Then what happened? Tesham, for the Kumaras, Chakara Sankshobhayam, it's agitated them. Agitated what? Chitta Tanu. Agitated their mind as well as the body. And what was agitated there? Aksharjusham. They were attached to impersonal Brahman, but now they got shaken up. Their minds changed. In other words, the impersonalist also, who feel transcendental pleasure in striving to become one with the Lord, is defeated when he sees the beautiful transcendental features of the Lord. And Prabhupada says, becoming a servant of the lotus feet of the Lord is better than becoming one with the Lord. And when Sukadeva Goswami just heard these verses, then also he felt similar feeling of agitation. Parinishchitopi grihita chetarajarse. In the first canto, we find that how Sukadeva Goswami came back to Vyasadeva to hear entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Next verse. Teva amusya vadanasita padma kosham udvikshya sundaratara andara kundahasam लब्धाशिष पुनर्वीक्षतादियम् अङ्घ्रि द्वन्द्वं न कारुणमणि शयनं निदध्यु.
The Lord's beautiful face appeared to them like the inside of a blue lotus, and the Lord's smile appeared to be a blossoming jasmine flower. After seeing the face of the Lord, the sages were fully satisfied, and when they wanted to see him further, they looked upon the nails of his lotus feet, which resembled rubies. Thus they viewed the Lord's transcendental body again and again. And so they finally achieved meditation on the Lord's personal feature.
So they viewed the Lord's transcendental body again and again. This repeatedly having darshan is very important. And they finally achieved meditation on the Lord's personal features. So it doesn't happen by one time, but repeatedly seeing, meditating, then it happens. So they are seeing, it's not like a guided meditation, first see the feet. No, they first saw the face, first saw the umbrella. They are all astonished because it's all new for them. Just like when some people enter the temple hall, they don't know what to do. Deities are also there, chandelier is also there. On the top also there are, pictures are there in the dome, Radha Krishna swans are there. So they become, they don't know from where to start seeing the things. So they look here, look there like that. So the four Kumaras also were astonished at the beauty and the surrounding of the Lord, the umbrella, the pearls hanging around them, the chamaras, and then the fragrance of the tulasi and his beautiful face and his, shark-shaped earrings and his kaustubh jewel and his bracelet, armlet, ankle bell. So the sages, they felt completely satisfied and they look at the nails of his lotus feet, which look like rubies. And then they viewed the transcendental body again and again, they were again seeing. So that body enters into their mind for meditation. Srila Vishwanath Thakur says, the scent of tulasi purified the pranas and then the senses, because pranavayu were satisfied, and fragrance they inhaled. First, the eyes received the qualification for the sweetness of Lord's form. Because of the unlimited variety of sweetness within each limb of the Lord, they desire to simultaneously experience all the sweetness, and thus disturbance is spread throughout their bodies. Send me that. Further, he says, for the next word, the person who desires liberation because of lack of pure bhakti, they do not desire to experience the sweetness of the Lord. But without meditation on the Lord, they cannot achieve even liberation. So they want liberation, they don't want anything to do with personal feature. So they do not want to experience the sweetness. But actually, without meditation, one cannot achieve liberation. Bhakti, at least as a part of karma, jnana, or yoga, is essential to give the fruits of karma, jnana, yoga. So without bhakti, nothing is fruit. And bhakti means concentration on the personal form of the Lord. Now, they do have a concept of the personal form. Only thing is they consider it as temporary and inferior to the impersonal feature. That's why sometimes you go to Mayavadi's Matha also, you will see deities also there, and then you will find they will chant Hare Krishna also. Sripa Sankaracharya also established deities in 4 of his mathas. So, but the conception they get is that this deity form, this form is lower than formlessness. That infinite Brahman is superior to Saguna Brahman, the deity form of the Lord. But this is a wrong understanding. But without worshipping the deity, without chanting the names of the Lord, without having some bhakti, even as a means, they will never attain the end. They will not attain the fruits of the process what they're trying. That is the power of bhakti. That even for karmi and jnani and yogi, bhakti has to be there. So similarly, they want to attain liberation, but liberation also they will attain only when they meditate on the form of the Lord. But they restrain their mind to not get attracted to the sweetness of the form, and rather than that they want to merge in the impersonal feature of the Lord. So this will be described by Lord Kapila Dev later in his prayers. You will find that how the yogis meditate and they realize the sweetness of the form of the Lord, but again they withdraw their mind from that form with the desire to merge into form. Such foolish people, just such unfortunate people. So there it talks about this. Pamsam gatim bragayatam dhyanaspadam bahutam nayana viramam Pam Sambapur Darshanam Ananya Siddhe और पत्ति के समर्गणन युतमष्ट भोगे.
This is the form of the Lord, which is meditated upon by the followers of the yoga process, and it is pleased to the yogis in meditation. It is not imaginary but factual, as proved by great yogis. The Lord is full in 8 kinds of achievement, but for others, these achievements are not possible in full perfection.
Yeah. So this is a long purport for us. But the essence is, Prabhupada said the success of yoga process is described here. The 400 Narayan form is the object of meditation. So real marga, real yoga marga process to control the senses, sit in solitary sanctified place and meditate on the 400 form Narayan. This is Krishna's expansion. Therefore, Krishna conscious movement which is now spreading the real topmost process of yoga practice. So further he says that the current day Hatha Yoga in Western countries where they just practice some asanas without meditation or they meditate on void, that is not the real thing. The yoga system as described in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita or as recommended in the Patanjali yoga process different from nowadays practiced Hatha Yoga as it's generally understood in Western countries. So Prabhupada talks all about yoga and he says one cannot practice yoga in a congested city, living a life of extravagancy including unrestricted sex indulgence and adultery of the tongue. Yoga practice necessitates controlling the senses and the beginning of sense control is to control the tongue. One who can control the tongue can also control over other senses. One cannot allow the tongue to take all kind of forbidden food and drink and at the same time advance in the process of yoga. So he talks about that. And then he says that this kind of yoga was prescribed to Arjuna, but Arjuna rejected it. One should be very practical in every field of activities and should not waste his valuable time in practicing useless gymnastic feats in the name of yoga. Pune is well known. Iyengar yoga is well known all over the world. There are many foreign people who come to learn. Of course, they talk a little bit about meditation and this also, but the prime practice is asanas only. All kind of asanas they teach. Real yoga is to search out the 400 super soul within one's heart and see him perpetually in meditation. This is called samadhi. So it goes for that. Not only Ishvara is in everyone's heart, but he is also present within the atom. Andantarasa Paramanu Chantarasam. And then he talks about Atma and Paramatma. Individual person is situated at one place, but Sun is situated at all the places. That's how it is described. The super soul's concept comes further. Long purport, you can read it individually. Then here he gives bring a very important thing here. A person in full Krishna consciousness acts by the dictation of Krishna. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, the dictation is received through the transparent medium of the spiritual master. When one is sufficiently trained and acts in submissive faith and love for Krishna under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master, the door-telling process becomes more firm and accurate. At this stage, Krishna or the super soul dictates from within, while from without the devotee is held by the spiritual master who is the bona fide representative of Krishna. So how Krishna and Guru both help the living entity to make progress, this is being described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela chapter number 28 entitled as the process of devotional service. That Guru Antaryami and then the Diksha Guru from outside or Siksha Guru from outside and Chaitya Guru from inside, they both help the devotee to make proper advancement. Tate Krishna bhaje kare Guru sevan Maya jale chute pave Krishna charan, like this. Beautiful description of how Krishna from within is Paramatma and Guru from outside helps us. Chapter number 22 of Madhya Leela.
28.
22. 20? 22 is for the huh? Sanatana Shiksha has many chapters, but this is title is the process of devotion service. I will see it, but it's mostly 22. So from within he helps the devotee Chaitya and outside he helps as the spiritual master. Understanding God is situated within everyone's heart is not however sufficient. One has to be acquainted from God both within and without, and one must take dictation from within and without to act in Krishna consciousness. That means even if we are very highly realized, the outside confirmation is also equally important, because otherwise we don't know it's coming from mind or coming from the Paramatma. So to confirm that, there should be external confirmation, outside confirmation also. So there are 8 kind of achievement for the perfect yogi, Anima, Lagima, Mahima and all. But when one rises to the perfection stage of receiving dictation from the Lord, that is greater than all the 8 mystic siddhis which are attained. So once I was hearing a lecture on similar verse, and Radhanath was saying, quoting this verse, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukuna Bhakata Seva Parama Siddhi Premalatikaramood. So I explained about all the 8 siddhis and everything about yoga system siddhis, and then he says, the Param Siddhi is Bhakta Seva. If you get the opportunity to serve the Vaishnavas, that is higher position than to attain all the 8 mystic siddhis which are attained by these yogis by great endeavor. Bhakta Seva, Param Siddhi. I never connected. Sometimes we say these are just words, but the great souls really mean it. So here also he says that one may attain these mystic siddhis, but one receives direction from the Lord from within the heart. And when does that happen? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. This is the platform of Nishtha. This is the platform at which devotee really becomes confident of his stability in Krishna consciousness. Because dadami buddhi yogam tam happen. Lord from within gives the direction. But when he will give Tesham satata yuktanam, always constantly engaged. And how? Mechanically? No. Tesha satata yuktanam bhajatam. In bhajan they are constantly engaged. Priti purvakam. With the desire to please the Lord. Then dadami buddhi yogantam. Like yesterday, Antadip was quoting, I don't know who all were there in the class, but he was saying, Yoga Goswami defines bhakti as that when one meditates, that what will please my spiritual master, what will please the Lord. When one tries to know that is first part. Second, after knowing, he tries to act in that way, that it will please one's spiritual master and the Supreme Lord. And thirdly, when they are pleased, his pleasure is not that he has done something, he has achieved something. His pleasure is that he has been able to please his spiritual master and Krishna. That is his pleasure. So these 3 things constitute bhakti. So this bhajatam priti purvakam, with that affection that let it please my superiors, let it please my spiritual master, let it please our founder Acharya, let it please the Parampara Acharya, let it please Gaurnitai and Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Then dadami buddhi yogam tam, and not with breaks, satatam. So that is a condition being then here. So finally he continues to talk. It's a really long purport about yoga, goes back and forth, back and forth. And he says when the senses are purified, they are automatically controlled. Yeah, that verse I was remembering yesterday. And I remembered that and I forgot also again. I remembered. Second chapter of that verse, come, I found it yesterday. Anyway, I'll see later. So senses are to be purified by engaging in the service of the Lord. So, and then now in these 5 verses, further 5 verses, by heartfelt praises, the Kumaras then indicate their love for the Lord. And the Kumaras are wondering, what an unlimited great mercy we have experienced by directly meeting the Lord by His mercy. We are so fortunate. Okay. Kumara uchu yo antarhito hridigato piduratmanam tvam so devano nayana moolam anantaradhya yadveva karna vivarena guhyagatonam pitranu varnitaraha bhavadudbhavena.
The Kumara said, Our dear Lord, you are not manifested to rascals, even though you are seated within the heart of everyone. But as far as we are concerned, we see you face to face, although you are unlimited. The statements we have heard about you from our father, Brahma, through the years have now been actually realized by your kind appearance.
So they have heard Pitra Anuvarnita. Pitra Anuvarnita. They have heard about the beautiful features of the Lord from their father, but they didn't get attracted at that time. Now when they saw the Lord face to face, then they became totally attracted. Here, the so-called yogis who meditate on impersonal void are described here. They are called as Duratma, which means a person with crooked heart or a less intelligent person, opposite to Mahatma, which means one who has a broad heart. So, so-called yogis, if they are engaged in meditation but are not Mahatmas, they cannot understand the 400 form, although Lord is seated within their heart. Although the first realization of the Supreme Lord is a personal Brahman, one should not remain satisfied with experiencing the impersonal Brahman effulgence of the Supreme Lord. Ishopanishad also, the devotee prays, please remove that, golden glare and let me see your face. So, in Bhagavad Gita, it said God cannot be seen by your imperfect eyes, He cannot be heard by your imperfect ear, He cannot be experienced by your imperfect senses. But if one engages in devotional service with faith and devotion, then God reveals Himself. Swayam eva sphurti pada. Here, the four sages are actually sincere devotees. Although they had heard from their father Brahma about the personal feature of the Lord, only the impersonal feature was revealed to them. But because they were sincerely searching for the Lord, they finally saw His personal feature directly, which corresponded with the description given by their father. Then they become fully satisfied. And here they express their gratitude that although they were foolish impersonalists in the beginning, Duratmas, by the grace of the Lord, now they have become Mahatmas. Another significant aspect of this verse is that the sages describe their experience of hearing from their father, who was born from the Lord directly. So then disciplic succession, Prabhupada quote, Brahma to Narad, Narad to Vyas. The Kumara was also Brahma. They had the opportunity to learn Vedic knowledge from the disciplic succession of Brahma, and therefore, in spite of their impersonalist beginning, they became in the end direct seers of the personal feature of the Lord. So Shiva Chandra Thakur says that when we heard the blessings of mercy given by our Father, a great devotee of the Lord, the fruits of that blessing would definitely appear in the future. Krishnera Matirastu. That's how the great souls bless. We know that this meeting today with you arises from the incomparable mercy of your devotee. See, they have understood the right concept. You do not independently give mercy to us, you are dependent on a devotee. The greatness of the mercy of a devotee cannot be described. So, any other place where similar thoughts come? Mercy of a devotee. Somebody saw the Lord and remembered. Huh? Dhruv Maharaj also said, my dear Lord, you have come because Narad Muni blessed me. Narad Muni only is a common feature. He has blessed many, and because of Narad Muni, Narada. One who can give Narayan is called Narada. Narayan Daiti, iti Narayan, like that it says. Or sometimes they say, Narada. Whatever promised Narad Muni means Narada, you cannot. Narada. Radha means to cancel them. आज भारी वर्षा के कारण पुणे से चलकर कलकत्ता को जाने वाली आजाद हिंद एक्सप्रेस रद्द कर दी गई है ऐसा नहीं ना रद्द whatever promises Narad Muni made is cannot be made false. Na radda, you cannot. I mean, somebody would tell like that. So Narad Muni, whomsoever he blesses, Lord becomes bound. Dhruv Maharaj, who else? Maniku and Nalgriva. Lord said, you be there and you'll get to see the Lord and Lord will deliver you. And Lord delivered, Lord remembered, Narad Muni ने बोल के रखा है, पूरा करना पड़ेगा, application आगे रखा है. Then he, pulled that ukhal in between the two trees and fulfilled his promise. Then. Narad Muni told these Nalkuvar Manigriva, na? So Krishna, in Damodar Leela, and then these Nalkuvar Manigriva also remembered, my dear Lord, we are not seeing you by our own power. Because Narad Muni promised, that's why we are seeing you. Here also, the four Kumaras are glorifying Lord Brahma there. Because Brahma said, may you see Krishna sometimes. That's how they are seeing. Anyone else? And Narad Muni is there in most of the places. Huh? Not exactly blessed like that. I have not found exact verses. Somewhere exactly their blessings are there and their quotation also is that you see the Lord and then like that. Ahilya Gautam, there also, yeah. Gautam Muni told Ahilya that you will see the Lord, Lord will deliver you later when she repented. Shabari was told, yeah. Shabari was told. So then by the mercy of her Guru, then Lord came, Lord Ram came. Prahlad Maharaj also. Prahlad Maharaj remembers that actually. It's not my qualification. Satyam vidatum nija pratyabhashitam stambhe sabhayam namragam namanusha. That verse is there. So there, Lord kept the promise of all. Brahmaji's all the promises he kept. Narad Muni promised Prahlad that he will always be protected. He kept. Prahlad Maharaj had the word that Lord is there in the pillar. He kept that. So like that, Lord made it. And his promise to Jain Vijay, which he made here, that I'll personally come and deliver you, that also he kept. So it's only by the mercy of a devotee that one gets the opportunity to see the Lord. So four Kumaras are remembering the mercy of their Guru and their father, Brahmaji, that it is meeting is happening today by the incomparable mercy of your devotee. But for that, what one has to do, as yesterday we were hearing, one has to give up one's prejudices. If prejudices are there in receiving mercy from the devotee, then it's very, very difficult. Because sometimes Lord's own son or own associate may get distracted also. That's one's choice. An example for that, when Lord's son or devotees got distracted. That was Bhamasur. Same past time, Varadev's son was Bhamas. Because he got associated with Banasur, and he also got corrupted. Duvida was associate of the Lord. He fought for the Lord in the Ramayana, but he got distracted. So the choice is there, but if one is simple and one is faithful and one receives that mercy, then by the mercy of the devotee, one's life becomes perfect. So next verse says, until this time we have been Gyanis, but now we have become devotees by our good fortune. This is a good fortune. This is explained in this verse. Tam tam vidam bhagavan paramatma tattvam sattvena sampratiratiam rachanentam esham yattenu tapa viditair drana bhakti yogen udgrantayo hridi vidur munayo vilaga.
We know that you are the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, who manifests his transcendental form in the uncontaminated mode of pure goodness. This transcendental eternal form of your personality can be understood only by your mercy, through unflinching devotional service, by great sages whose hearts have been purified in the devotional way.
Yeah. So Lord form is Vishuddha Sattva. It is not made up of any three modes. The Mayavadis say that when the Lord appears in any form, that form is a form of goodness, he says. And when he says other form like Matsya Avatar and all this, these are the forms in the mode of ignorance and passion like that. So these are all foolish ideas concocted by them. Lord's form is always in pure goodness, whichever form he may take. Apparently, boar may be in ignorance and elephant may be in goodness or things like that. But when Lord appears in any form, that is all pure goodness, beyond goodness. And that is all understood by your mercy only, through unflinching devotional service by great sages whose heart have been purified in the devotional way. Prabhupada talks about the three features and saying that four Kumaras were instructed by the great learned father, but they could not actually understand the absolute truth. Now they could understand the supreme absolute truth when they saw him with their own eyes. In other words, if one sees or understands the supreme personality of Godhead, the other two features, namely impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma, are also automatically understood. Argue that since the supreme absolute, the supreme personality of Godhead was so nicely decorated, he was therefore not the absolute truth. But here it is confirmed that all the variegatedness of the absolute platform is constituted of Suddha Sattva, pure goodness. Then it talks about the three modes. Such variegatedness and pure goodness is exhibited eternally by the Lord for the satisfaction of the devotee. The devotee does not want to see the supreme personality of absolute truth in voidness or impersonalism. In one sense, absolute transcendental variegatedness is meant only for the devotees. We were telling it in the first class. Absolute transcendental variegatedness is meant only for the devotees, not for others, because this distinct feature of transcendental variegatedness can be understood only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, not by mental speculative ascending process. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead when one is even slightly favored by him. Otherwise, without his mercy, a man may speculate for thousands of years and not understand what is actually the absolute truth. Any verses for this? तथापि ते देव पदामुचम प्रसाद लेश अनुग्रहीत एव हि जानाति तत्त्वम Bhagwan Vichintam. And also Brahma Samhita can apply. What is that? Manasomani Pungavanam. Vedeshu Durlabham, Adurlabham, Atma Bhaktam. Yeah. It is stated, therefore, that only when all the contamination is rooted out, the devotee completely detached from material attractions can be received. Can he receive this mercy of the Lord? Can Gyanis, Vishnu Thakur is saying, can Gyanis realize this form of Lord without bhakti? And then it says, sages like us, the Kumaras, can know your supreme form only by fixed bhakti yoga. And then Lord is asking, how can one know the characteristics of bhakti yoga? And then he says, it can be understood by remorse, anutap, caused after we curse your true devotees. Sages fixed in impersonal Brahman without bhakti do not repent. Repentance is a sign of humility. So if they are impersonal Brahman, they will not repent. But because bhakti arose in their heart, they repented. And that repentance constituted bhakti. Although they cursed Jay and Vijay, but their interaction with Jay and Vijay, even in the form of cursing, became the cause of their seeing the Lord. Because Jay and Vijay, they got some sukriti. They cursed, that became an offense. But they repented, that became a sukriti, anutapa. And that's how the Lord appeared. Lord will say that very mystic chapter, mystical chapter. Lord's language, they are the most intelligent people created. 4 sons, 4 heads of Brahma created, but they couldn't understand what to say of us. But it's very beautiful part. So we saw you by the process of bhakti. What was our bhakti? Because we felt repentance in the heart. If we were attached to only impersonal feature, we would not have felt repentant. But we felt repentant, that became our bhakti. And we got association of Jay and Vijay. So by their mercy, and they did not retaliate the curse, they accepted the curse, that made them peaceful, they repented for that, and that became bhakti. That. What to speak of the bliss in meeting you directly? The bliss experienced in glorifying your pastime is much greater than the bliss of Brahman. They speak happiness of devotees in order to request bhakti alone, whose basis is the difference between Lord and soul. Actually, they are impersonalists, they are Brahmavadis. Mayavadis are offenders to the form of the Lord. Impersonalists, they know about the form of the Lord, but they are not attracted to that form. They are more attracted to the impersonal feature of the Lord. Mayavadi, they criticize the form of the Lord. They say the form of the Lord is temporary. It is made up of Maya. That's why they're called Mayavadi. Mayavadis are Krishna Paradi. But Sukadeva Goswami and 4 Kumara, they come in the category impersonalists. They're called Brahmavadis. They're attracted to the Brahman feature of the Lord. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabda se. Attracted to the Brahman feature. They're not Mayavadis sometimes. Impersonalist Mayavadi. Prabhupada equated many places, so we also get in that habit. Mayavadis go to hell. Brahmavadis go to Brahman, but that is also not considered very high. They are also considered like a spiritual suicide. Because they lose they want to give away the capacity to offer the service to the Lord, offer their affection to the Lord. So that is considered a spiritual suicide. Kavalyam narakayate. So they go to hell, but Kavalyam is also equated to Nark by the devotee. Kavalyam narakayate. So like that, although definitely Brahmavadis are different than Mayavadis, but compared to the Bhakti, they are not highly appreciated because that also not a stable position. So now they are glorifying the devotees. Natyante kim viganayanti apite prasadam kim anyad arpita bhayam bruvavnayasate ye angatvad sharana bhavata kathaya kirtanya tirtha yashasha kushala rasagya.
Persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are engage in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord, which are worth chanting and worth hearing. Such persons do not even care even for the highest material benediction, namely liberation, to say nothing of other less important benedictions like the material happiness of the heavenly kingdom.
So Bhaktanand is much, much higher than any other Ananda which is there. This is described at many places. Dharmartha, Kam, Moksha are rejected, which are aspired by everyone. Bhagavatam, well, in the very beginning, when it talks of Dharma projita kaitavatra nirmasaranam satam. So Dharma projita kaitav, that kaitav Dharma, if you see that purport and if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita in detail, so there it says that kaitav Dharma is This dharma, artha, kama, moksha are kaitav dharma. Because they are not situating the living entity in its constitutional position of eternal service to the Lord. They are distractions. In that explanation to that verse, what is that verse? Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaudoday Pushpavanto Chitro Sando Samod. So in that explanation to the purport of this verse, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami takes this verse. Dharma projit kaitavatra nirmal saranam satama. He said, kaitav dharma are these four. They are all rejected. Why? Because the bliss of bhakti is much beyond that. So, and then it says, less intelligent people sometimes take to religious life to take some material benediction, and they become confused or frustrated in fulfilling the maximum amount of sense enjoyment. They try to become one with the Supreme. First bhakti, and then mukti. And then mukti is of five kind. Sahyajya is the least important. But devotees don't care for such liberation because they're actually intelligent. Nor are they inclined to accept any of the four kind of liberation. This is told by Kapila Dev to his mother Devoti. That my devotees are not interested in these four muktis also. And Mahaprabhu also in his Sikshastakam he says, Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishwar. That means mukti is rejected. Because mukti means you become liberated. No? Mukti means to go beyond the cycle of birth and death. But when you say mama janmani janmanishwar, then that is not liberation. But Bhagavad Bhavatad Bhakti Ahetu Kitoi. Give me bhakti, not mukti. So they are concerned only with glorifying the Supreme Lord and His auspicious activities. Pure devotion services, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Pure devotees who take transcendental pleasure in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord do not care for any kind of liberation. Even if they are offered the five liberations, they refuse to accept them, as explained in the third chapter. They do not care for the position of Indra and Chandra and Varuna and Brahma also, because Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna, they fall down. This transcendental stage of life in which one feels transcendental pleasure in hearing the Lord's pastime is also recommended by Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was talking to Ramananda Rai. Then where he settled? Where he settled at the goal of life. What is that verse? How does it start? Sthane sthita shrutigatam tanva manobir. How it start? Jnane prayas udapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukha bhavadiya varta sthane sthita shrutigatam tanva manobir ye prayaso jitopi hajitopi. By this endeavor, Lord is conquered. So he says, by hearing and chanting alone, Lord can be attained. That is accepted by everyone, especially in this age. One should engage himself in hearing from pure devotees about the activities of the Lord. That is considered the supreme benediction for mankind. Vishwanath Thakur says, it is true, my devotees do not regard to liberation. But are you now fixed in pure devotion or in liberation? Clearly tell me, let's finish with hints. Lord is asking them. And he says, we don't want liberation now. Let our condition remain as it is, in low birth, because of our sinful act. Because they are hinting at their offense, because now they realize, they are repenting that they have cursed the associates of the Lord, servants of the Lord. So Jiva Goswami says that hinting at their offense, they pray for bhakti. O Lord, previously we had no sin. Now all sins have appeared because we have cursed by your true devotee. Therefore, we should take birth in hell because of these sins. But in hell also, we should not forget you. The same prayer. Wherever Lord's remembrance is there, that is immaterial for the devotee. Narayana Parasarve Nakotishvana Vibhati Swarg Apavarga Narkeshu Apitulyat Darshana. Kulshekar Maharaj, same thing he says in that prayer in, what is that song? Kulshekar Maharaj prayers, what are they called? Mukund Maharaj Srota, he says that. Bhave, again and again, you will take birth, let me just remember you. So now Kumaras are saying that let us remember you, let us not forget you, because they've already attained darshan of the Lord, even if we take birth in hell, because of our sinful activities of criticizing or cursing your true servant. Kamam bhava subrijana nirayeshu nasa cheto levadyati nuttapadayo rameta वाचस्नस्तुलसिवाद्यदिते अङ्घ्रिशोभा पूर्येत te गुणगुणैर्यदि कर्णरन्ध्रः. Very beautiful prayer this is.
Oh Lord, we pray that you let us be born in any hellish condition of life, just as long as our hearts and minds are always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Our words are made beautiful by speaking your activities, just as tulsi leaves are beautified when offered onto your lotus feet. And as long as our ears are always filled with the chanting of your transcendental qualities.
Yeah. So they are not now worried about any condition of life. Earlier they wanted liberation and impersonal, now they say anything will do. You see the change of concept? Because they are now saying, as long as our hearts and minds are engaged in the service of your lotus feet, words are made beautiful by speaking activities. These are common things which are asked by devotees. Aham haredta padeka moolam dasa anudaso bhavitasma bhuy manah smareta shupate gunaste granita vak karma karo tukaya. Like that it says. Who says? Vritasura is saying. So the four sages now offer their humility to the person of Godhead because they're having been haughty in cursing two other devotees of the Lord. As Vaishnava, the four sages should not have cursed them in anger. After that incident, they become conscious they have done wrong by cursing the devotees of the Lord. They pray to the Lord that even in the hellish condition of life, their minds might not be distracted from the engagement of service to the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. Those who are devotees of the Lord are not afraid of any condition of life, provided there is constant engagement in the service of the Lord. Narayan para nakutashvana bibhyati. And these four devotees pray to Lord, although they might go to hell because they curse devotee, they might not forget the service of the Lord through Kaya, Manasa, Vacha. Then he says that one may speak very nicely with ornamental language or one may be very expert at controlled grammatical presentation, but if one's words are not used in the service of the Lord, they have no flavor and no use. Example is of Tulsi leaf. The Tulsi leaf is very useful even medicinal antiseptic point of view. It is considered sacred and is offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. Tulsi leaf has numerous good qualities, but if it not offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, Tulsi would not be much value or importance. Similarly, if one's words are not offered to the service of the Lord, they are useless. The holes of the ear are very small, can be filled with any insignificant sound. So how can they receive as great a vibration the glorifications of the Lord? The answer is that the holes of the ears are like the sky. As the sky can never be filled up, the quality of the ear is such that one may go on pouring on vibration of various kind, yet it is capable of receiving more and more vibration. A devotee is not afraid of going to hell, even if he has the opportunity to hear the glories of the Lord constantly. That is the advantage of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. One may be put in any condition, but God gives him the prerogative to chant Hare Krishna. In any condition of life, if one goes on chanting, he will never be unhappy. The only thing is, one should chant. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. so Shankar Thakur says, what do we attain in hell by sinful act? What do we attain by liberation? So then they say, just as bees enjoy the flower without being pierced by thorns, we do no consider obstacle if we enjoy the bliss of prema at your lotus feet. If it were possible to be born in hell with bhakti, then certainly hell with bhakti would be preferable to liberation. The nature of the Lord and devotees, aspiration are the bliss of hearing, chanting, and remembering the qualities of the Lord are not available at all in liberation. Thus, if we happen to born in the material world, even in low birth, that is preferable to liberation. Thus, it is the nature of the devotee to pray for thousands of births in the material world, even as insect, bird, or animal, as long as there is bhakti. Any songs for this? What is that? मारो भी राखो भी जो इच्छा तुहार नित्य दासे प्रति तुहार. हाँ, कीट जन्म होए यथा तुआदा बाहिर्मुख ब्रह्मा जन्मी nahi mora. It says Kita Janam Hoye, that is okay, but Bahirmukha Brahma, if I become Brahma, forget you, that is. Pashu Pakshi Hoye Thaki, Swarge Vaniraye, Tava Bhakti Rahu Thakur, Bhakti Vinoda Hriday. There is another song. What is that song? Another song is there on Dhanamna Janamna Sundarim, that song. So there also it says, Pasu Pakshi Hoye, whether I become a bird or animal, whether I live in Swarga or Narka, but as long as I remember you, tava bhakti rahe Thakur, bhakti vinoda hriday. Then your bhakti remains and no problem. They are very exalted prayers, but they should be our inspiration and aspiration. So, however, when the Kumaras beg pardon for sins which would take them to hell, they show their appreciation for the great position of Jai and Vijay, similar to that of the Lord. So, this is the last thing. We desire bhakti to only you, having attained what is natural, we become successful. We offer respect to you, are invisible to those devoid of bhakti. प्रादुष्यकार्थयदिदं पुरुहूतरूपं तेने सनिर्वृत्तमवापुरलं दृशो न तस्माइदं भगवते नम इद्वधेमन योनात्मनं दुर्दयो भगवान् प्रतीतः.
O Lord, we therefore offer our respectful obeisances unto you, unto your eternal form as the personality of Godhead, which you have so kindly manifested before us. Your supreme eternal form cannot be seen by unfortunate, less intelligent persons, but we are so much satisfied in our mind and vision to see it.
Yeah. Many Pradushakartha, you have manifested the form. So 4 sages, they were impersonalists, but later, by the grace of their father, spiritual master, they could see the Lord. They became satisfied in all respect. They became devotees. They wanted to see the Lord continuously. They were ready to go to hell also. Particular word used in this connection is anat manam, signifies those who have no control over the mind and senses and who therefore speculate and want to become one with the Lord. Such person cannot have the pleasure of seeing the eternal form of the Lord. Lord is hidden by Yogamaya from such impersonalists and so-called yogis. Even while he was, Bhagavad Gita says that even when Lord Krishna was seen by everyone while he was present on the surface of the earth, the impersonalists and the so-called yogis could not see him because they were devoid of devotional eyesight. So, the theory of the impersonalist and so-called yogis that Lord assumes a personal form when he comes in touch with Maya, although actually he has no form. This is a Mayavad thing, but Prabhupada says the theory of the impersonalist. Little different, Prabhupada used them interchangeably. This very conception of the impersonalist and so-called yogi check them from seeing the Supreme Personality of God as he is. The Lord therefore is always beyond the sight of such non-devotees. The 4 sages felt so much obliged to the Lord that they offered their respectful obeisances unto him again and again. So, even in Lord Krishna's time, there are many who did not identify Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Many fools were there. Duryodhana was one of them. When Krishna went, then he tried to capture him. And Lord showed his mini Vishwarup form. Still, he said, oh, this is some kind of mystic thing. Still, he didn't accept Krishna as God. Then Pondrak sent a whole letter. He said, you are duplicate, I am original. Somehow he has the 2 extra forms. Some say they were added or whatever. I mean, can you imagine how Joker kind of person he would look like? How much daring he'll have. It's a king, he's not a Joker. And he had armies who were ready to fight for him to ensure that he is the real Vasudev, ready to lay down his life for him. So, there can be foolish people because without devotional attitude, one cannot understand the Lord. Even if one sees the Lord, even if one talks to the Lord, he cannot understand. The Dhobi, the washerman in Mathura, Lord went and talked to him. You see here, Lord has not yet spoken. Lord has just appeared. And he is Lord Narayan, his 400 form. So he had Rupa Madhuri, definitely. But Krishna Rupa Madhuri is beyond Narayan because he has that a special feature. Rupa Madhuri is one of his special features. He is more beautiful than Lord Narayan also. That beautiful Lord not only gave darshan to the Dhobi, he also spoke to Dhobi. He spoke because when he speaks, then it's even more merciful. He saw the Dhobi, he talked to the Dhobi, and still the Dhobi was adamant. So, one receives by devotee association only. It comes from Premi Bhakta. Premi Bhakta only can do Om Agyan Timirandasya Jnananjan Shalakya Chakshur Unmilitam. And that can happen only by someone who already has his eyes open, already has the ointment of love within his eyes. Then he can transfer it. Will give the Ranjan. The pure devotee, exalted devotee of the Lord, they have that, they can only give that. So unless one comes in contact with the devotees and submits to them, follows their instructions, serve under their guidelines, it will not be possible to see the Lord. Even if one, comes across the Lord, still that feeling in the heart will not come. On the other hand, there are devotees who never saw the Lord, but they were full of love for the Lord. Examples? Rukmini Mother. She never saw Krishna before that. But just by hearing Gunara, she was all love for the Lord. Others, Yagya Patnis, the Yagya Brahmana Patnis, they never heard. They heard from the gopis only about Krishna. They were attracted. Nag Patnis, they heard. Dhruv Maharaj heard from the Narad Muni. So, on one hand, it is possible to develop full love for the Lord simply by hearing about the Lord. On the other hand, even if one is with the Lord or one sees the Lord, still it is possible to not develop love of the Lord. The differentiating factor is the mercy of the pure devotees. That makes a difference. So, Krishna Jagad Thakur says, we prayed for indirect perception with you, though we have been offenders. Such great tolerance is your unlimited mercy. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the third canto, 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled as Description of the Kingdom of God. Should we continue now only, or should we take a break and then start the next section? What do you all feel? Oh, that time we'll take a break. So we all will make sound together. We'll shout inside, they'll shout outside. Okay, that's a good idea. Let's continue with this. This is yeah. So, Canto 3, Chapter 16, the two doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, Jay and Vijay, cursed by the Brahmavacha iti tadganatam tesham muninam yogadharminam pratinandaya jagadedam vikuntani layo vibhu.
The Lord Brahma said, after this congratulating the sages for their nice words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose abode is the kingdom of God, spoke as follows.
So Vishnu Jagat Thakur says the Lord was pleased with Kumara's words of praise. And that's why in section 2 to 12 he says, you should not be afraid of having committed offense. 11 verses talk about that. And 2 to 5, the Lord praises 4 Kumaras as Brahmanas by lovingly scolding his doorkeepers. This is in Kram Sandarbha is quoted. So, okay. Now Lord will glorify the Brahmanas. And Prabhupada will write, Acharyas will write that this glorification is not just for caste Brahmanas. This glorification is for the Brahmanas who are also Vaishnavas. Not just Brahmanas. Because there are already many verses where Krishna says that I don't care for the Brahmanas. Huh? Like Prahlad Maharaj also will say in his prayer, even if a Brahmana is there, decorated 12 qualities, but if he is not a devotee of the Lord, he cannot deliver himself. On the other hand, there may be a Swapacha. But if he is a devotee of the Lord, he can deliver himself and everyone else also. So Lord is definitely not attracted by just Brahmanas. When Durvasa Muni goes and he says, my dear Lord, you have told Namo Brahmana Devaya, I am a Brahmana. He says like that. And Lord says that, well, I have said, but what kind of Brahmana are you? The Ekadashi fasting is done for my pleasure only. If my devotee did Ekadashi fasting for my pleasure, and he broke the fast to satisfy me, then you consider your eating more important than breaking the fast for my pleasure. So is this the guna of a Brahmana? Like that he asked. Then the Lord is asking Durvasa that you are a Brahmana. The first and foremost quality of Brahmana is what? Prime quality of Brahmana is forgiveness. And you created a whole demon to kill my devotee, and you say you are a Brahmana. Lord chastises him. So this is not for Brahmana. This is for Brahmana who is also Vaishnava. Referring to 4 Kumaras there. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Eto to parshado mahyam jayo vijaya evacha kadarthi krityam mayadvat bhaya kratam atikramam.
The personality of Godhead said, "These attendants of mine, Jay and Vijay by name, have committed a great offense against you because of ignoring me."
Now somebody may say the Lord तो वहां थे ही नहीं, उनको कैसे इग्नोर कर दिया? बाह अक्रातम अतिक्रमम. What they have done? Kadarthi kritya they have done. They have ignored me. Why they have ignored? Why Lord is saying like that? That they have ignored me?
They have not checked with him post office.
Because they have ignored his instruction, ignored his mood. See, Lord's mood is he's always favorable toward the Brahmanas. When Raghumuni came, Jai Vijay must still be there. They must have saluted him because he's a Brahmana. When Sudama came, no doorman stopped him. He was just given direct entry in that. When the Brahmana was sent by Mother Rukmini, the Lord personally received him, took him to his own inner chamber and put him on the bed and served him. So Lord is known as Namo Brahmane Devaya. Lord is saying, you have ignored me because you have not followed my mood. You have not followed my instruction. That is why you ignored me. That. So he says to them that they have committed a great offense against you because of ignoring me. And Prabhupada says to commit an offense at the feet of devotee of the Lord is greater wrong. Now here is a very interesting thing. Even when a living Indian is promoted to Vaikuntha, there is still the chance that he may commit offenses. But the difference is that when one is in Vaikuntha planet, even if by chance one commits an offense, he is protected by the Lord. This is a remarkable fact in the dealings of the Lord and the servitor, as seen in the present incident concerning Jay and Vijay. The word atikrama means that in offending a devotee, one neglects the Supreme Lord himself. That is how the offense should be seen. Actually, when you are offending someone, you are not able to see the bigger picture. How you offend a devotee, we are not seeing how much Srila Prabhupada loves that devotee. Because Srila Prabhupada, kind of invested gallons of blood to get one devotee. What kind of people Prabhupada trained in his time? People are addicted to all kind of sinful things, sinful activities. But he was kind to them, and just like Jagai Madhava were delivered by Nityananda Prabhu, similarly Prabhupada very patiently, consistently, perseveringly, he dealt with them and gradually elevated them. So when we offend a devotee, we are actually neglecting the Lord because the Lord still has kindness towards him. So that is why it is said. And he said the Lord's presence on the spot was very pleasing to the hearts of the devotee. Lord understood that the trouble was due to his lotus feet not being seen by the sages, and therefore he wanted to please them by personally going there. So the Lord is so merciful that even if there is some impediment for the devotee, he himself manages matters in such a way that the devotee is not bereft of having audience at his lotus feet. So the four Kumaras are agitating or not seeing the Lord, so Lord came himself. And the doorkeepers, they were also his people. They were also, they did a mistake, but the Lord owned the owners for that mistake. It's a big thing. We often talk about, I think it was Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam only, when the first mission failed, then he came for the press conference. Although scientists have done some mistake, but he faced it and he said, yeah, it was our mistake and all that galis he faced. So much loss of money, loss of energy, so much. And next time when the mission became successful, then he said, okay, now you attend the press conference, you reply and get the glory. So this is, wonderful quality that when the leader owns the mistake and shares the credit of success, that's very wonderful. Not so easy. Generally, we, delegate the mistake and takes credit for the success usually. But Lord is so merciful, showing by his example how he takes care of his servant and how he pacifies the situation. It's a very amazing situation here. And then Prabhupada talks of Haridas Thakur, how Haridas Thakur was not allowed inside. So then Lord Chaitanya himself, who is not different from Jagannath, would go to meet Haridas Thakur every day, and in this way he will give him darshan. And in same behavior you find in Srimad Bhagavatam, that when his devotees were prevented from seeing his lotus feet, Lord himself came to see them on the same lotus feet for which they aspired. It is also significant that he was accompanied by the goddess of fortune. The goddess of fortune not to be seen by ordinary persons, but the Lord was so kind that although the devotees did not aspire for such an honor, he appeared before them with the goddess of fortune. Now Lord further said, Yasto etayor dhrito dando bhavadbhirmam anuvrate sa eva anumatos mir munayo deva helanat.
O great sages, I approve of the punishment that you have devoted to me. Have meted out to them.
And then he says, you don't bother. It knows that you have cursed them. I approve. I'm not upset with you. Till the end, Four Kumaras will be confused whether the Lord is upset, he's like, he's praising us or he's chastising us what he's doing. Because that is the Lord. Lord, when he speaks, there are multiple meanings in that language. So he says, uh, whatever, Dhrita Danda, that punishment which you have given them, Bhavavdi, by you, Eva Anumatta, certainly it is approved by me. Eva Anumataha Asmabhi. Don't don't worry, because they committed an offense, you give the punishment, you've done the right thing. What is the problem? You relax. Relax. It's comforting them. First comforting, but they're guests, na? See, Jay and Vijay had long association with the Lord. They have come first time. Huh? So naturally, the feeling will be first to pacify the guest, then the host. Right? So that's why Lord is making them comfortable. Sometimes a visitor comes, security ने मेरा जूता इधर रख दिया, इसने मुझे check किया, ये किया. One time one boy came and he was so angry because the security was talking to him in Marathi. He is speaking in Hindi and the security is talking in Marathi. He came shouting, yelling, यार तुम्हारा security है, ये महाराष्ट्र को हिंदी से ज़्यादा श्रेष्ठ मानते हैं. He had his own flavor, that boy. And he said, ये लोग सोचते हैं मराठी अच्छा है, हिंदी से मेरा अपमान कर रहे हैं, मैं हिंदी में बोल रहा हूँ, मराठी में बोल रहे हैं, मेरे को इंसल्ट कर रहे हैं. So then we called the security and said, why were you speaking Marathi? अरे मैं बोला, वो बोला, Marathi is our first language, ना, so what to do? तो बोला तुम अगले बार से मराठी में बात नहीं करो, जैसे इंग्लिश में कोई बात करेगा तो हिंदी में बात करो, हिंदी में बात करेगा तो भी हिंदी में बात करो, इंग्लिश नहीं आता मेरे लोगों को. मराठी में बात मत करो, मराठी में पूछता है तो मराठी में बोलो. So we chastise them because they're our security people. They're our security people. No? The guest has to be pacified because he'll get a bad image otherwise about the temple. So like that, Lord said, don't worry. जो punishment था, I approved it. We should not be afraid of having committed offense. That is expressed in 11 verses. Maya means my. These two ignoring me have seriously committed offense to you because they have ignored the conduct desired by me. They have not understood by me, my mood. That's why the punishment I should give has been done by you, who have vows dedicated to me because they have actually offended me. Deva Helana. And then Vishnu Thakur says, actually, not only they made offense, actually I have offended you. I have made offense against you. How is it your offense? Then he says, if Jai Vijay were not my servant and I had not been so affectionate to them, there would be no offense on my part. Because I love them. I love them, they are my servant. And they have offended you. So in a total context, it is I who have offended you because they are my loving servant. Lord is speaking such a way that Jai Vijay is also feeling Lord is owning us. Lord is not disowning us. He is saying Jai and Vijay are my servants. That means they are my servant. You are not my servant. You are still Brahmanas only. So Lord is so mysterious that is specifying them also and is giving, courage to them also. He is saying they have committed mistake, but they are my servants. That is why I am also at fault. So Lord is owning the responsibility of their mistake, but still owning them with him only. So that's why they become confused. And he says, Tadva prasadami adya brahma devam param hime taddhita atmakritam manne yasva pumbir asatkrita.
To me, the Brahmana is the highest and most beloved personality. The disrespect shown by my attendants has actually been displayed by me because the doormen are my servitors. I take this to be an offense by myself. Therefore, I seek your forgiveness for the incident that has arisen.
Yeah. So he says, Prasadayami. Prasadayami means I am seeking forgiveness. Now see, just see. There are so many ways to justify in any given situation. Lord told us what, अगर मुझे व्हाट्सएप कर दिया होता तो मैं बोल देता था गेट पे. अब बिना बताए आ गया तो क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं? सपोज 2 बजे कोई गेट पे आ जाए, आपको पता 1:30 बजे गेट बंद हो जाता है, पता है ना, वेटिंग रूम रहता है बाहर, अंदर नहीं एंट्री नहीं रहता है. तो कोई आगे झगड़ा करेगा तो आप क्या बोलेंगे? प्रभु जी मुझे बता दिया होता ना तो क्या प्रॉब्लम था, सर्विस गेट से आ जाते थे, सर्विस गेट तो खुला रहता है, मुझे फोन कर दिया होता तो मैं आ जाता था लेने के लिए. अब सिक्योरिटी को तो इंस्ट्रक्शन देके रखा है ना कि 1:30 बजे से गेट बंद है, तो उन्होंने अपना काम किया. 1:30 बजे से गेट बंद है, 1:30 बजे से गेट खुला है, 1:30 बजे से सर्विस गेट खुला है, तो 1:30 बजे से गेट बंद है. तो 1:30 बजे से गेट खुला है, 1:30 बजे से सर्विस गेट खुला है, तो 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 1:30 बजे से आपका ही गलती था। देखो आर्गुमेंट सेक के लिए आर्गुमेंट करना है तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, व्हेन यू वांट टू जस्टिफाई इट कैन बी डन इन एनी सिचुएशन। लॉर्ड कुड हैव टोल्ड, अरे यू कुड हैव टोल्ड ना, यू कुड हैव वेटेड। ऐसा क्या था, 1-2 मिनट की बात थी ना, आप उनसे बोल देते, पूछ के आपके मालिक से अपॉइंटमेंट है कि नहीं है। तो समटाइम वी से ना, समटाइम वी गो एंड से सर को बोलो कि ऐसे ऐसे हम लोग आए, क्योंकि वो तो जानता नहीं है ना। तो पर्सन गार्ड डजंट नो, उसको बोलो सर को बोलो, मैनी टाइम लाइक यू गो टू वीआईटी कॉलेज और रसोई को मिलना है तो यू स्टैंड एट द गेट एंड इसे सर को बोलो कि ऐसे ऐसे आया हूं। So then Rashmi Rupu only will come out and project like that is it. So there could have been many situations, but Lord did not justify. जो इंसिडेंट हो गया उसको रिवर्स नहीं किया। एक बार भी ये नहीं बोला ऐसा किया जा सकता था, ऐसा कर सकते थे, कुछ कुछ वैसा करेक्शन नहीं दिया। अभी सिचुएशन को संभालना है, इनको श्राप मिल चुका है, ये क्रोधित है। अभी सिचुएशन को पहले नॉर्मल करना है, बाद में एडवाइस देंगे क्या कर सकते थे। अभी जो हो चुका है उसको पहले डील करना है। हाँ? जैसे एक्सीडेंट हो गया, कोई इमरजेंसी में जा रहा है और आप पूछो गाड़ी लेफ्ट साइड में चल रहा था कि राइट में चल रहा था, तुमने वो एक्सीलेटर की जगह ब्रेक की जगह एक्सीलेटर तो नहीं दबा दिया कि गाड़ी, अभी वो स्ट्रेचर में पड़ा है, अभी उसको पहले सलाइन लगाओ, पहले उसको जो है बाद में पूछ लेना कि एक्सीडेंट कैसे हुआ। फर्स्ट थिंग इज टू क्योर ना। सो सिमिलरली हियर एक्सीडेंट हैज हैपेंड, सो देयर नो एनालिसिस क्या हुआ क्यों हुआ। कभी कभी वी गेट इनटू लॉट ऑफ एनालिसिस। फर्स्ट थिंग इज टू पैसिफाई। जैसे आग लग जाती है तो पहले आग बुझाई जाती है, बाद में आग का कारण पता लग जाता है। फायर ब्रिगेड वाला आके मुझे पहले आग लगी कैसे बताओ, फिर फायर ब्रिगेड चालू करूँ, पहले आग बुझाओ, उसके बाद whatever lessons have to be learned, instruction has to be given, can be given. तो भगवान इधर आके बोलते हैं कि मुझे क्षमा कर दो। सच ह्यूमिलिटी। लॉर्ड इज द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड बिकॉज ही इज abode of humility also. Nobody can be more humble than the supreme lord. In all his feature, even as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even as Krishna, even as Lord Ram, he is always full in humility. As Krishna, he is walking behind the cows and he's saying, if cows are not wearing shoes, I will also not wear shoes because I am Gopal, I am their servant. As Lord Ram, when Indra is sending the chariot, when fighting with Ravana, Indra sends a chariot. So at one time, Lord Ram says, Matali, take the chariot here. And then next moment he says, I'm very sorry, you are servant of Indra and I'm commanding you like this. Next moment he says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what can I say? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would take dust of the feet of his devotee and will wash the cloth and fold the cloth. So this is humility of the Lord. Lord is Lord because there's no pride, it's all humility. Tat prasadayami. One day Radha said that if we commit a mistake and if we accept the mistake and beg forgiveness, it's very painful for the mind because mind always have reasons with intelligence how it can be settled, justified. But if we do that, the mind may feel the pain, but the soul becomes very blissful. Then we just, out of humility, we just accept, okay, don't mind mistake. Not like Tera gada aage, mera goda piche. That also is sarcastic. Sometimes we accept. ठीक है यार, टाइम नहीं है, जाओ तुम जाओ. Like we accept, but not out of humility, out of some other motive. And we still maintain I'm right, he's wrong, but let it be. No, not because of that. But with humility, we accept that, okay, I don't know, maybe Lord has some other plan, okay, you are better, fine. So here he says, Atmakritam manne. I understand that I only have done that offense because this is done by Swapumbihi. These are done by my attendants. So that's how he's owning the servant and begging forgiveness from the Brahmana, specifying both of them. This is the art of mediation Lord is teaching. So Lord is always in favor of the Brahmanas and the cows and all. Here he says that a so-called Brahmana who is born in the family of Brahmanas but perform activities aimed against the Vaishnavas cannot be accepted as a Brahmana because Brahmana means Vaishnava and Vaishnava means Brahman. One who has become a devotee of the Lord is also a Brahmana. The formula is Brahma Janati Brahmana. Brahmana is one who has understood Brahman and a Vaishnava is one who has understood the personality of Godhead. It should be noted that the glories of Brahmana described in this chapter by the Lord himself referred to as devotee Brahmana or the Vaishnava. It should never be misunderstood that the so-called Brahmanas who are born in Brahmana families but have no Brahmanical qualification are referred to in this connection. And then they say, Kumara was saying, how can the Supreme Lord commit offense? Even if you do, who could punish you? How can you restrict yourself? There can be no punishment. And he says, no. If I have committed a mistake, infamy is the punishment. I'll become ill-famous because of this mistake. Yannam nicha granati loko vratte kritagasi स्वसाधुवादस तत्कीर्तिम हंति त्वचम इवामयः.
A wrong act committed by a servant leads people in general to blame his master. Just as a spot of white leprosy on any part of the body pollutes all of the skin.
I was quoting this earlier also that when Yamaduta has committed a mistake of being angry with the Vishnu Duta, then Yamaraj asks for forgiveness. Proper right there that in Bengali words that the master is responsible for servant mistake. It says something like Bratyera for mistake uses is a Sanskrit Bengali word. Bratyera mistakenly he uses one word, but he says Swamino Danda. That master has to receive punishment for Bratya, servant's mistake. So here Lord himself is showing wrong act committed by a servant leads people in general to blame his master. किसके भक्त हैं? इस्कॉन के भक्त हैं, प्रभुपाद जी के भक्त हैं, इस्कॉन वाले हैं, कंठी वाला वाले हैं. Name of the society and acharya that get spoiled when we do something wrong. Just as a spot of white leprosy, any part of the body pollutes all the skin. उसको white leprosy एक पार्ट में होगा, लेकिन नहीं बोलेंगे वो प्रभु जी के हाथ के राइट हैंड के थर्ड फिंगर में एक लेप्रोसी का निशान है, ऐसे नहीं बोलेंगे. बोलेंगे उसको उसको लेप्रोसी है. एक स्पॉट होगा तो भी क्या बोलेंगे? उसको लेप्रोसी ऐसा बोलेंगे. So Prabhupada says Vaishnava should therefore be fully qualified, as stated in Bhagavatam. Anyone who has become Vaishnava has developed all the good qualities of demigods. 26 qualification. A devotee should always see that his Vaishnava qualities increase with the advancement of his Krishna consciousness. A devotee should be blameless because any offense by the devotee is a scar on the supreme personality of Godhead. ये कृष्ण के भक्त हैं ऐसा बोलते हैं ना लोग. Krishna is immortal, then devotees are also immortal, like that they say also. Devotee's duty is to be always conscious in his dealings with others, especially with another devotee of the Lord. So now 6 to 11, again Lord glorifies the Brahmanas. So that we will see at 1 o'clock after the break. Because Vishnu Thakur said, but from offense to us, you get infamy, and by our pleasure, you get fame. You have created us, but now we have become greater than you, the Supreme Lord. Are we greater than you? You say, na, by offending Brahmanas, I get ill fame. My servants offended you. They're my servants, so in equivalent, I offended you. So what is the punishment that I get ill fame? So that's what they're asking. That for offenses to you, you get infamy. Offenses to us, you get infamy. By our pleasure, you get fame. So you created us. You are the Lord, we are the servant. So have we become greater than you? That's the question, which he will answer in text 6 to 11. Lord will glorify the Brahmanas, that we will see at 1 p.m. Now there's time for a break and shouting, yelling, everything what children are doing. 1 o'clock, hopefully it will be more peaceful. Okay, Prabhu, we'll see you at 1 o'clock, Haripur. Yeah, this is Bhattera Doshe Prabhu Dosh. Pratyera Doshe Prabhu Dosh. Actually, Prabhupada says Pratyera Doshe Swamino Dandita, something like that also he said. That a master is punished for that or this. There in the Ajamila section with Yamaraj and this there. Maybe this is the there. I remember, I don't remember. I read it long back. Okay. See you at 1 o'clock. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतने श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नाम नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तगण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 Hare Krishna. Hare. So welcome back to the section of where are we? Yeah, here. So Lord is specifying the four Kumaras because he saw them angry and the Jaya Vijay they are disturbed. So he is pacifying them by taking the side of the Kumaras, telling them that actually you have done the right thing by cursing because that is their mistake. They deserve to be punished. And to Jay and Vijay, he is indicating that you are my servants. And you need to improve. You have not understood my mood of respect to the Brahmanas. So, so the four Kumaras say that, oh, how have you offended us? He says, because my servants have offended you, that's why I feel I have offended you. What is the punishment? My infamy is the punishment. So they say, oh, if you commit offense to us, you get infamy. By our pleasure, you get fame. So that means your fame and infamy depend on us. So we have become bigger than you, greater than you. So how are we similar to you? How are we greater than you? So now the Lord replies to that. And Lord is saying, I have prestige, fame, or reputation because of you. So let's see this verse. Yasya amritamala yasha shravananga sadhya satyam punati jagadasya pachadi kuntha soham bhavatya upalabdha shrutirtha kirti chendayam sabahum apiva pratikula vrittim.
Anyone in the entire world, even down to the Chandala, who lives by cooking and eating the flesh of the dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore, I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you.
So he says that now you have realized me without doubt. Anybody can realize what to say. You are Brahmanas, but even down to the Chandala, they get purified. That verse is there. What is that verse? Second canto. Kirata Hurana Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Samba Shukhada Ashraya. Apasha Ashraya. Sudanti Tasme Prabhaveshame Nama. So like that is said. So now that you realize me, I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm also. What to say of cursing these associates? Even if my arm becomes hostile to you, I am so much attached to you that I'll cut off my arm for your sake. Like that says. Prabhupada says, real purification can take place if a member take to Krishna consciousness. A devotee can be recruited from any section of human society, although it is not expected that everyone in all segments of society is well behaved. This is the issue. Oftentimes managerial issue. Because Svabhava doesn't change so easily. So one can practice devotional service, but Svabhava changes gradually only. So, as stated here in many places in Bhagavad Gita, even if one is not born in Brahmana family, if he simply take to Krishna consciousness, he is immediately purified. 9th chapter 30-32, what are the verses? Apiche suduracharo bhajate maman anyabhag sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisa. Even though a man is not well behaved, if simply takes to Krishna consciousness, he is understood by 70%. As long as a person is in this material world, He has two different relationships and is dealing with others. One relationship pertains to the body, others to the spirit. As far as bodily affairs or social activities are concerned, although a person purified on the spiritual platform, it is sometimes seen that he acts in terms of bodily relationship. So if a devotee born in the family of Chandala is sometimes found engaged in his habitual activities not to be considered Chandala. Vaishnava should be evaluated in terms of body. Vaishnavera, Jati Buddhi. And then he quotes the verse, Arche Sila Diya Vishnu. This talks about deity. And these attitudes are forbidden because anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness is understood to be fully purified. Is at least engaged in the process of purification. And if he sticks to the principle of Krishna consciousness, he will very soon be fully purified. The conclusion is that if one takes to Krishna consciousness, ये important है. One takes to Krishna consciousness not casually but with all seriousness. That means trying to improve. He's not justifying मैं ऐसा ही हूँ. मैं घर पे भी ऐसा ही था. मैं कॉलेज में भी ऐसा ही था. मैं वॉइस में भी ऐसा ही था. मैं आश्रम में भी ऐसे ही रहूंगा. नहीं, you know, that don't mean seriousness. Seriousness means I know I have this shortcoming, I have this weakness, I have this fault. I'm trying to improve. I will follow all the regulations given. I will stay away from whatever is told to stay away. If I do a mistake, I'll report. Not that, you know, we do it casually, we do it hidingly, we do it in a, you know, very different way. He is to be understood as already purified. If he doing with all seriousness, and Krishna is ready to give him protection by all means. The Lord assures herein that he is ready to give protection to devotee, even if there is need to cut off part of his own body. So, this is a very important thing. Many times, when we are corrected or disciplined, we feel very bad or offended. Because in our own understanding, we see our mistake as very tiny. इतना ही तो किया, इतना ही तो हुआ, इसमें इतना बड़ा क्या हो गया? You know? And the punishment seems to be disproportionate. It seems to be too rough. It seems to be too bad like that. Sometimes for us it may happen, sometimes for other people whom we know. But we may not know all the aspects of dharma. How a small mistake can lead to a big problem in future, we may not have an idea of that. How a small mistake can spoil one's spiritual life and others' spiritual life, that also one may have no idea. So small and big, that is because of our own thinking. It's not based on Shastric thing. We may have certain considerations about certain wrong things. छोटा ही है, इसमें क्या है? But we should not make our thinking and our estimation as absolute and start judging everyone else. इसके लिए ज़्यादा कर दिया, इतना नहीं करना चाहिए था, ये ज़्यादा हो गया. Who are we to do that? We are in that position, then we can take our opinion. Otherwise, it's better to have understanding that everyone is guided by the superiors and Guru Sadhu Shastra, and they are coming to some conclusion after due deliberation. And if we have any doubt, we can go and ask also. Otherwise, if we criticize and take side of the person who had done mistake, then we also become offender. Actually, our bhakti also suffers. Happens many times. Oftentimes, in general, not only any temple or anything, in general, the mood is often against the people who are leading or managing. In general, I'm telling. It's not in general. Could be, you know, like there's a good government, but there's another party called Vipaksha. Vipaksha means वो विपरीत पक्ष में है. वो जो करेगा उसको कमी निकालना है, उसका काम ही वो है, और उसको प्रोपेगेट करना है. कुछ पॉलिसी बनाओ तो चलेगा नहीं, कुछ पॉलिसी बनाओ ये नहीं चलेगा, ये नहीं चलेगा, इससे ऐसा होगा, इससे वैसा होगा. कुछ अच्छा करो तो ये वोट बैंक के लेके आए, ये वोट को इधर करने के लेके आए. So generally like that, because leaders and managers are very few and people are many. So they are few versus many at times. So then popular opinion, union, and all these things come up. But the perspective of leader and perspective of subordinate are very different realms. So what is decided from top perspective is you know, seeing many things in picture, many things in consideration, not just one thing or one person. But what a person sees is immediate thing. What is happening to me? What is happening to my friend? So that's why the perspectives differ. And practicing Krishna consciousness with all seriousness means to be very submissive and cooperative and inquisitive, no problem asking. But oftentimes in ISKCON, people, you know, get involved in gossiping, rumor mongering, criticizing GBC, criticizing systems, criticizing policies. This is not a symptom of seriousness. And that is why purification gets delayed. So we cannot have a half-and logic. No, we cannot say कि नहीं, Krishna ने बोला है. But किसके लिए बोला है, क्या बोला, पीछे सुदुराचार्य बोला है. But what is returning? That person compulsorily repents. It's not that he doesn't repent. Even if he has done the most abominable act, he repents and he's ready to take any punishment for that. Not that he first does a mistake and then dictates a punishment also. "Prabhuji, इतना हुआ इतना ही दे दो बस, एक महीने के लिए मोबाइल ले लो बस, हो गया, और कितना करेंगे?" नहीं, it's not that you do a mistake also and you dictate the extent of punishment also. Then how will it work? Not like that. I have done a mistake, you decide what is to be done with that. So that kind of attitude is very, very important. Otherwise, when we have a thought for everything, we don't get purified. For purification, we need to trust. We need to trust Krishna. We need to trust Krishna representative. To whatever degree in our intersection we can have trust. Without trust, life becomes very difficult. In material world, we have to put trust by default. आप टैक्सी में बैठते हैं, उसे लाइसेंस नहीं पूछते ओला उबेर में. बस में जाते हैं, उसका लाइसेंस नहीं देखते, उसको सूंघते नहीं है तो शराब पिया है कि नहीं पिया. In our college days, we had gone to Mussoorie. So we went to Dehradun by train, and the driver was so drunk that you could smell him in the back of the seat also. फिर भी टीचर ने बोला बैठो, तो बैठ गया. अब हमको पता नहीं कि कहाँ जाएंगे, अभी पिया हुआ है वो. पहुंच गए, आ गए वापस. लेकिन मैं बता रहा हूँ, यू कैनॉट से भाई ये पिया हुआ है. नहीं, अरे पिया हुआ है वो, लेकिन टीचर को कॉन्फिडेंस से बैठो तो बैठो. टीचर भी बैठे, जाएंगे तो जाएंगे. टू सच एक्सटेंट कभी कभी दूसरे शहर में जाते हैं, दूसरे जगह पे जाते हैं, और हेयर हैज ग्रोन अप, वी हैव टू गो फॉर हेयर कट और शेविंग. ऐसे नहीं बोलते तुम्हारा लाइसेंस दिखाओ, तो पुलिस रिकॉर्ड दिखाओ, तो कितना गला काटा है अभी तक. कुछ नहीं पूछते हैं. डॉक्टर के पास जाके पूछते नहीं कितना % पेशेंट को ठीक किया तुमने. नहीं, अपना नीड होता है तो देन वी हैव टू पुट ट्रस्ट, देयर नो ऑल्टरनेटिव. बट इन स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ, because we don't realize that how much our advancement depends on putting faith and trust on the hierarchy or the parampara. So we take it lightly and we say क्या है, अपने को पता है करना क्या है, ट्रस्ट नहीं भी हुआ तो कर लेंगे. लेकिन प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि जब तक in bhakti, in the process of bhakti, we are not trying to please someone, we will not make advancement. We will continue for many, many lifetimes. But unless we have someone whom we are trying to please and we have a complete picture of how we are trying to please him, not just that एक चीज से हम प्लीज कर रहे हो, बाकी चीज अपना मन से कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं होता है. We have to take it holistically. All our daily schedule, all our interactions, all our sadhana, all our seva has to be done in that consciousness, whether it will please or not please. So some of you are there in the Dindi lecture, Dindi Yatra lecture by His Holiness Loknath Maharaj, online lecture he gave, and he said, आप दिंडी में जा रहे हैं, बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन साधना सबको ठीक से करना है. सुबह उठ के जप करना है, क्योंकि कभी कभी जल्दी चलना होता है. सुबह उठ के जल्दी जप करना है और किसी की निंदा नहीं करनी है. अगर आप बिना निंदा के नहीं रह सकते, मत जाओ दिंडी. महाराज told that, you can hear the recording. I was shocked. I never heard from Maharaj so directly. Maharaj told this very statement, अगर आपको दिंडी में जाके किसी की निंदा करनी है, गलती ढूंढनी है, तो आप दिंडी में मत जाओ. आपकी प्रगति नहीं होगी उस दिंडी में जाने से. अगर आप कीर्तन करेंगे, प्रसाद लेंगे, लेकिन जब ठीक से नहीं करेंगे, आपकी प्रगति नहीं होगी. महाराज so direct and straight. So he may give us service, he may give us, instructions to how to deal, how to do our sadhana. Holistically we have to see. Otherwise we say, नहीं, I have my guru, I'm pleasing him. Whatever I do is pleasing to him. ऐसा नहीं है. थोड़ा we have to engage our mind intelligence. What does he want? What kind of behavior he want? What kind of practice he wants? Then by meditating on that, praying to him, by hearing his lecture, reading, if he has books, and interacting with the senior devotee whom he has personally guided, then we come to refine ourselves subtler and subtler, that this attitude is not pleasing, this action is not pleasing. We refine it. Otherwise, this automatic assumption that everything is going well, I'm making progress, I'm good, whatever I say is good, even if I criticize someone, doesn't matter because now I'm senior, who can say anything to me. These things make us halt in the progress. Things may look like going on, but anchor has gone down, now boat is not moving now. So, or another example Radha Maharaj gives is, like the car gets sometimes caught up in the kichad. Kichad? The wheel is moving, but car is not moving ahead. Wheel is rotating, but the car is not moving. He gave one example, this example in one of our camps. Some of you are there in that camp? No? I'll play that clipping if it becomes possible to see. So we have to be very, very careful that when I say one takes to Krishna consciousness with all seriousness, sometimes people probably use the word sincerity. Be sincere. So sincerity, seriousness, freedom from ulterior motive means that, we are very honest, we are committed, and we are, taking guidance working well, in cooperation with other devotees. So that's very important. This qualification is very important. It's not automatic. Krishna is not taking responsibility of anything. Anyone does anything anytime, and he says, okay. No, he also punishes. He definitely gives protection, but depending on the consciousness, he reciprocates. If the devotee is already repenting, then he will take care. If he's not repenting, then he may have to take him through more tough thing to bring him to the right realization. Then he is understood as already purified, and Krishna is ready to give him protection. The Lord assures herein he is ready to give protection to his devotees. That Krishna says, "I am the Lord, famous as Tirtha because of you. What to speak of giant Vijay over object of attachment for me? I will even cut off my own limb, the object of my identity as I. Unable to do that, I am your offender." Yes, bro. Mike.
I am facing some challenges in the some devotee, just like I am a manager. So some devotee want to tell me about other devotee, and I have to hear him patiently. Means whatever he says, I know some things are right and some things are out of envy. Devotee is saying, but I cannot directly contract him saying that you are wrong in this. Means just I have to pacify him, and we will take care in the future. So but also I am not an advanced level that I can digest all criticism. So how you deal in your means in this such situation? Because we personally don't criticize. We try our best not to criticize, but when we lead somewhere, we have to hear criticism. So how to deal with it?
And this is something practical which happens all the time. There may be small complaints which we can hear. We can make notes. We can ask other devotee what happened. We can sort them out also, because if we are in a position, we have to handle issues and handle people undoubtedly. So there may be some small thing. इसने ऐसा बोल दिया, इसने ये चीज यहाँ रख दी, इसने टाइम पे नहीं किया, something like that. ठीक है, पूछ सकते हैं, clarify कर सकते हैं. If a person is putting allegation on somebody's character, ये ऐसा है, and somebody's character or following of the regulative principles, then it's a more serious thing. And if we feel that we are not able to make a judgment or we are not able to solve it, we can always wait and involve a senior person, because none of us is working alone in any situation. We always have a hierarchy, always, everywhere. So we can say, Prabhu, this problem seems to be more bigger than what I can handle. I can't handle it because I can't really ask him about these things. So what he'll do, that when Prabhuji comes, or I'll try to bring him next week, next month, or you come to this place, Nagpur, wherever, if we can't bring him, then we can take the person there, depending on the issue, and we'll talk. And that person, by his maturity and all, he will understand the situation and he will guide us how to deal with it. So we can always seek help in case the situation is beyond us. We should not feel that I'm alone, I'm responsible, who will hear me, who will give time. No. People are there. It is their responsibility to, help us out in difficult situation. Always. One of the complaints Radheshyam Prabhu had, still has, is that the managers don't report to me in time. I'm available. I'm ready to reply on SMS, WhatsApp, email. Manager think themselves like independent authorities, and they never come to me and never tell. They always tell when the situation already become too big. That's his complaint. We don't go to him in time. Because sometimes our feeling is that the stand Prabhuji may take may be very heavy and extreme. So we try to kind of be more compassionate than what we should be. And the situation goes in a different direction, then we realize that apne se galti ho gaya. Prabhuji bachao, aap hi deal karo, then you will just. So please understand that every person takes full responsibility for the roles they take. And we always have some people available who can help us out. So once we understand our level of, maturity and advancement and how much we can deal, it's only with that much. Many times things happen. And I ask the person, Prabhu, what you're going to tell, is it of any consequence to me? Is it any helpful for me? Or do you expect any service from me? And if he says, no, I'm just sharing just like that, I say, just like that, don't share, because you will waste your time in speaking, I'll waste my time in hearing. And some MBs of my brain will get occupied with that data. Better, already so much stress is there inside. I have to clear. My mobile is already running on 500 MB only. 32 GB is there, 31.5 GB is full. And it says storage full, your mobile may slow down. Clean up for better speed, like that it keeps on giving me signal all the time. But I have to take out time to clean the mobile, then to clean my mind, and then to say. So we can always make a distinction and always evaluate what I can deal with. We should know that it's not that every situation of the world we can deal with. It's not possible. Sometimes the issues are too complicated, and the issues are related to Mataji and all. Sometimes, I mean, it's tough. Sometimes to do that, but one of the worst experiences of management is to deal with issues related to brahmacharis and Matajis. Thoroughly contaminating. Thoroughly. Japa goes for a toss, sometimes bad dreams may come, because we ourselves, I myself have a very bad background. So when these things I have to deal with, then everything gets triggered of the past and just cause hell in my mind. I never get into it by my choice, unless the written order comes from Radheshampu or someone, you deal with it, then I don't deal. I deal with it only as the purpose of this instruction, and only do whatever minimum I can. I mean, I have to do the needful, but only deal as much as is required. Never talk to another extra person also, and never talk to the person also anything extra apart from the issue. Because these are very contaminating things. They contaminate the consciousness. Although we may do it as a service, but we have to pay the price for that. So then to purify, one has to go into sadhu sangha. Sadhus come, sit and hear, inquire from them. About that it requires time. So that is a manager's misery. He has access to sangha, but time is not there all the time. I mean, somebody is giving class, I can't go all the time, or can't go for all the classes what the sadhus give. NVCC at least I try to attend. But sadhu sangha, drowning oneself in sadhu sangha and harinam, sankirtan, that's the only solution. For me, deity worship works effectively. So if I get too pressurized, then I will take some extra deity services, because that purifies the mind. That creates an alternative absorption to some degree and does that part. Even morning 30-minute harinam, no? It looks simple, but it has the potency to relieve us from many mental pressurized things. 30 minutes, because they're just like chanting, dancing for the pleasure of Mahaprabhu going. So one has to take the extra means if one deals with very tough cases, because protecting ourselves is our responsibility to the largest degree. Guru is giving all help and guidance, authorities, everyone is doing their part. Ultimately, the onus is on us. If you go to them and say, I can't deal with this, they will say, okay, you don't deal, somebody will deal. Because things have been happening when we were not there, and things will continue to happen when we will not be there. So that way things go on. It was I joined Kunjivali Temple in 2005, on 2006 on this day, today's day, 19 years back. But before that, things were going on. No? Things were going on somewhere other than 2007. I was made manager, then TMC, and then I got that illusion I'm only running the temple. Krishna purified it thoroughly. But we do get the feeling that our role is important. But once you meditate, things are happening before I was not there. Things will continue to happen when we will not be there. So what we are doing is only trying to serve in that role for that period of time. So if we are not capable of something, we should always, it's not that we just decide I'm not capable of anything and just keep on rejecting services. Neither it is that we have to do everything, because sometimes things are beyond us naturally. So we should evaluate very carefully, thoughtfully, consult someone, and if some things are beyond us, we should tell them, just getting beyond us. My mind is too disturbed. I can't deal with this. Because preserving our consciousness, preserving our mood of bhakti is very, very essential. But some risk has to be taken because we have to do service. But how much risk, we have to think, we have to evaluate and consult. Okay. Now Lord further says, my potency to purify. People come and take shelter of my lotus feet. And Lakshmi ji always remains with me and serves me. So these two things, the potency of my lotus feet and my potency to keep Mother Lakshmi attracted to me, that is coming because of my service to you. That is saying Brahmana. Yasevaya charana padma pavitra renum sadhya kastakhila malam pratilabdha shilam Mashe viraktam api mam vijahati yasya peksha lavartha itare niyamam vahanti.
The Lord continued, because I am the servitor of my devotees, my lotus feet have become so sacred that they immediately wipe out all sin, and I have acquired such a disposition that the good goddess of fortune does not leave me. Even though I have no attachment for her, and others praise her beauty and observe sacred vows to secure from her even a slight favor.
So he says that so many people are behind the dust of my lotus feet. But Lord also think it is because of his devotion to the servitor that all his transcendental glories have increased. In other words, the devotee is always anxious to render service to the Lord, so the Lord is ever anxious to render service to the devotee. And then he says that this greatness of his lotus feet is because of affection for a devotee. And then he says, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune does not leave him. And not only one, many Lakshmis engage in his service. Although materialistic people are behind Lakshmi, but Lakshmi is behind me. Why? Because I serve all of you. I serve Brahmanas. That's why the Lord is saying it is a little extra exaggeration on the Lord's side just to please the four Kumaras. That's why they become confused and they will refute everything. One by one, they will refute everything and they will speak tomorrow. And today, I will not be able to do. And then he says that, in Yajna, there is fire. They are telling when Lord Varada appeared, your mouth is a plate of sacrifice or other thing. So Yajna Kunda. But actually, my pleasure comes more when Brahmanas eat, not when sacrificial offering are offered in fire. Read the translation.
Enjoy the obligations offered by the sacrificers in the sacrificial fire, which is one of my own mouths, with the same relish as I do the delicacies overflowing with ghee which are offered to the mouths of the Brahmanas, who have dedicated to me the results of their activities and who are ever satisfied with my prasada.
So Krishna, Lord also puts a qualification. What is the qualification? Who have dedicated to me the result of their activities and who are ever satisfied with my prasad. Then the same relish I do the delicacies overflowing with ghee which are offered to the mouth of Brahmanas. कौन सा स्वीट है जिसमें घी ओवरफ्लो होता है? एक दो बताओ. मूंग दाल हलवा इज वन.
हलवा
है ना? ओवरफ्लो होता है. बटर हलवा, हलवा में तो ओवरफ्लो होता है. बाकी तो जैसे स्वीट राइस वगैरह में घी नहीं होता. स्वीट राइस, गुलाब जामुन ऐसा. और किसमें घी होता है? हाँ, पूरन पुली में घी रहता है. पूरन पुली में, बालूशाही में, जो फ्राइड वाले आइटम्स होते हैं, फ्राइड में चाशनी में डालते हैं, घी में. मालपुआ सब फ्राई करके डालना पड़ता है चाशनी में. तो चाशनी भी है और घी भी है. बाकी जो लड्डू में घी ओवरफ्लो होता है ना. कभी कभी बेसन लड्डू है ना, पेपर में रखेंगे तो घी लग जाएगा पूरा उसको. तो इससे लाइक. So Prabhupada says, devotee of the Lord does not take anything without offering to the Lord. Since the Vaishnava dedicate all the result of his activity to the Lord, he does not taste anything eatable which is not first offered to him. The Lord also relishes giving to the Vaishnava's mouth all eatables offered to him. So Lord eats through these means, but Lord is more pleased when. So finally says, here it is said that he accepts offering to the mouth of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas with greater relish. And then he quotes about Advaita Acharya giving the first Shraddha Patra to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur said, I am a fallen person. He says, no, by feeding you, I am feeding millions of Brahmanas. So that is a Vaishnava. And then he says, the conclusion is that if one can feed a Brahman or Vaishnava, it is better than performing hundreds and thousands of sacrifices. So in this age, it is recommended that Hare Naam, you see, Prabhupada writes so emphatically, it is recommended that Hare Naam, chanting the holy name of God, and pleasing the Vaishnava are the only means to elevate oneself to spiritual life. In the context when Maya Devi is asking Haridas Thakur for mercy, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami writes that Maya Dasi prema mage ete ke vismay. Maya Dasi is asking for prem. What is the vismay? Harinam Vaishnav Seva Bina Rati na upajay. It may be, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not remembering the exact thing. But that comes in that section that when Maya Dasi fails, then she asks and this says, yes, without the holy name and without a Vaishnava, one cannot attain love for Godhead. I'm not remembering the words, but it is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Maya Dasi prema mage ete ke vismaya. Harinam Vaishnava Seva Bina Priti na upajay. Something of that sort it comes. But it takes up these two things. Chanting of the holy name and pleasing the Vaishnava are the only means to elevate oneself to spiritual life, not one. Both are there. Vaishnava Seva, Namaruchi. Both are important. And Jiva Swami says, my inner satisfaction comes from inner satisfaction of Brahmanas. And Vaishnava Thakur says, they refer to only devotee Brahmana. Mixed, Vasishtha or pure. It's devotee. Padma Purana says, Sapakam evan ekshata loke vipram avaishnavam. Same thing. If a Brahmana is not a Vaishnava, then he cannot deliver himself also. So that Brahmana is not talked. It's talked about devotee Brahmana. As the Lord becomes eager to serve his devotee. And then the Lord says that offenses made by the Brahmana should be tolerated and not corrected. Who does not tolerate Brahmanas who have made mistake? All people would. Showing his crown with his forefinger, he speaks to those inquiring why he does so. So he's saying, I bear prosperity and power because of your dust on my head. He's saying, all showing his finger, forefinger is showing his crown. That if Brahmanas even commit a mistake, that mistake should not be punished. It should be tolerated and not corrected. Lord says that. I bear prosperity and power because of your dust on my head. Please read.
And the master of my unobstructed internal energy, and the water of the Ganges is the remnant left after my feet are washed. That water sanctifies the three worlds along with Lord Shiva, who bears it on his head. If I can take the dust of the feet of the Vaishnava on my head, who will refuse to do the same?
Yeah. Lord's glorification, the Vaishnava. Yesham Mibarmi Akhanda Vikunda Yoga Maya Vibhuti Amalang Raja Kirita on my helmet, Vipran. The Vipran Angari Raja, that means dust of the lotus feet of the Vipran. And he challenges Vipran. Kona Vishaheta, who is that person? Who is not that? And Yada Arahanabham, water which has washed the feet. Ponati Saha Chandra Lalama Lokan. Lord Shiva is purified and three worlds are purified by the water which carries the dust from my feet. And if I am taking the feet of Vaishnavas on my head, then who else will not do that? That's how he's challenging. So then there's a comparison between the Lord's opulence in the spiritual world and the material world. The spiritual world is kingdom of God, material world is kingdom of Maya. The opulence of the material world is a reflection, opulence of the spiritual world is original. So that opulence. When the Lord himself offers so much respect to the Vaishnava and the Brahmana, how can one deny such respect to such personalities? So Lord is saying, I whose fruit water purifies the three worlds and Shiva has become a wealth of unrestricted powers, by the mercy of holding the dust of the Brahmana on my head. One should take the fruit water of he who puts Brahmana dust on his head. What to speak of those who tolerate offenses of Brahmanas, those who see difference between me and Brahmanas go to hell. I punish those who differentiate you and you from me. Please read.
The Brahmanas, the cows, and the defenseless creatures are my own body. Those whose faculty of judgment has been impaired by their own sin look upon these as distinct from me. They are just like furious serpents, and they are angrily torn apart by the bills of the vulture like messengers of Yamaraj, the superintendent of sinful persons.
So here Prabhupada talks about the five weaker sections of society who need protection, especially cows, Brahmanas, women, children, and old men. Now here Brahmanas and cows are mentioned, different scripture also mentioned, that Lord is always anxious about the benefit of Brahmana and cow. Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. The Lord especially instructs, therefore, no one should be envious of these five, especially the cows and the Brahmanas. In some of the Bhagavatam reading, Duhitra is used instead of Duhitaha. Either case meaning is same. Duhitaha means cow, and Duhitra can be means to cow because the cow is supposed to be the daughter of the sun god. So those who are helpless must be taken care of by their respective guardians, otherwise the guardians will be subjected to the punishment of Yamaraj, who is appointed by the Lord to supervise the activities of sinful living creation. And they are compared to vultures, Yamaraj associate, because they punish very heavily. That. So why these five to be protected? Because Brahmanas maintain systems of progressive spiritual life, Varnashram, education, justice. Earlier, Brahmanas used to give justice and education and medication. All three things were free. Cows give milk purposes by drinking hot cow milk. One brain becomes fertile to understand the spiritual knowledge. Also, cows are, very dear to the Lord. They are representative of dharma, cows and bulls. Women maintain chastity of society because, as we saw, the Grihastha ashram is the maintenance for all three ashramas, and also all three ashramas get their members from Grihastha ashram. So they maintain chastity of society and good offspring. Old men and children maintain bright future for all. Why? Because old men teaches how to prepare for death, and children are well trained, then they will become future hope. So that is why Lord Vishnu's maintenance system is through these 5 things. They are very dear to the Lord, and one should see that whatever we do, these 5 should be given a special privilege. Like old man, a basic thing like chair is there, lift is working. The basic thing, that thought should be there that we are here to facilitate. It's not that we just leave them on their own. A special queue or line. Even in the Rath Yatra where 10,000 people are served, afternoon 6,000? How many were there? You were there, no? Afternoon? Yeah, 6,000. Then also in another place with all ground and all, still there was a separate section for senior citizens so that they can take their plate and sit on chair and table and do that. Similarly, cows, women need protection. They feel they don't, but they need. and Brahmanas also. So Vaishnava Thakur further says, I am controlled by those who praise Brahmanas who have committed offenses, and even more than that, please them. I am controlled by those who worship the Brahmanas who utter harsh words. So he says that even if Vaishnava does some mistake, committed offense or speak harshly, but if people respect them still, I respect them. I am pleased with them. I am controlled by those who worship the Brahmanas who utter harsh word. So Vishwanath Thakur also mentioned in that word sadhu is a mantavya something. So he says, I consider that person as a sadhu who does not criticize somebody who has committed a mistake. He's a sadhu because he is situated properly. Sadhu is a mantra. I consider that person only sadhu who does not criticize and rather takes care of the person who may have committed a mistake. That person is sadhu in my eyes. So like that it says, I am puppet in the hands of those who serve you respectfully in all condition. Ye brahmanam mayudhiyo shiptor chintas tushya jadasmata sudokshita padma bhaktra Vanyarunag kalayatmajavad grahananta sambodhayanti aham upahartaste.
On the other hand, they captivate my heart who are gladdened in the heart and who their lotus faces enlightened by nectarian smile respect the Brahmanas, even though the Brahmanas utter harsh words. They look upon the Brahmanas as my own self and pacify them by praising them in loving words, even as a son would appease an angry father, or as I am pacifying you.
So although you are angry, you spoke harsh word, you punish my servant, but I'm setting an example, I'm still appreciating you. So any Brahmana Vaishnava commits a mistake, in general, people should not criticize him. Right? Somebody gets a disease, in general, people sympathize with him. Correct or not? Only the doctor will do the surgery. Others will only, and they will not criticize the doctor either. They will praise the doctor also. But in Vaishnava dealing, somebody who does surgery, then they are criticized. And other people, sometimes they criticize. So it's like, it should be seen in that light, that if somebody has done something, it's not the right for everyone to criticize that. Somebody will deal with it and set the right situation. For in general, for us, it's good to see the good qualities in a Vaishnava. And if we see some bad quality, we can leave it with him. Or if it is very important, we can report it to the persons who may take care of that. If somebody commits a mistake, we focus on what good things they have done in the past. Whatever the mistake is done, that will be dealt by the surgeon who will see how to rectify it. That's a proper attitude. Neither we become sentimental, neither we become kind of inimical, neither we become critical. We just maintain. Everyone does so many wonderful things, so let us praise for them. And done some mistake, that is not nullifying all the good things that person had done. That mistake will be dealt by someone, that's all right. We are not the one who are dealing with that. So that's his saying. It has been observed in many instances in Vedic scripture that when the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas curse someone in an angry mood, the person who cursed does not take it upon himself to treat the Brahmana or Vaishnava in the same way. There are many examples of this. You see? The sons of Kuvera, when cursed by Narad Muni, did not seek revenge in some harsh way, but submitted. Jay and Vijay were cursed, they did not become harsh toward them, but rather they submitted. That should be the way of treating Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Parikshit Maharaj got cursed from a Brahmana, but he did not retaliated. Chitraketu Maharaj got cursed from Mother Parvati, and Sukadeva Goswami mentioned that Chitraketu was so powerful, he could have counter-cursed Parvati or he could have rejected the curse also. He was so powerful. He was an associate of Sankarshan. He was not ordinary. He was at par with Lord Shiva's position. They were God brothers. But he accepted. So in that, you time and again we find that although the sages or Brahmanas, sometimes for the right reason, sometimes even for other reason, they may curse, they accept the curse. Now Indradyumna Maharaj was actually performing tapasya in forest for the pleasure of Lord. But who came there? Agastya Muni? Angira Muni. Agastya Muni came and he was in trance actually. He was not sleeping. He was in trance, which he's supposed to be in meditation. Agastya Muni just felt that he is neglecting me because he became an elephant. He said, let me become an elephant. And because he accepted that, the Lord delivered him even from the elephant body. So the Lord became pleased. So when somebody dealing with us harshly and badly, if we show humility and tolerance, then the Lord becomes pleased with us. If we retaliate, especially on a personal accord, if it is for a, some part of something we are representing, it's a different thing. But if it is on a personal accord, we are misunderstood, we are chastised for the wrong thing. If we accept it without criticism and without retaliating and fighting back, the Lord becomes seriously pleased with us. That's what is being said here. One may sometimes be faced with a grievous situation created by Brahmana, but instead of meeting him with a similar mood, one should try to pacify him with a smiling face and mild treatment. Brahmanas and Vaishnavas should be accepted as earthly representatives of Narayan. Then he talks about Darius Narayana. It is specifically said that to pacify the Brahmanas, one's face should be lotus-like. A lotus-like face is exhibited when one is adorned with love and affection. In this respect, the example of the fathers being angry at the son and the sons trying to pacify the father with smiling and sweet word is very appropriate. And lastly, he says, please favor me by bringing my mistaken servant quickly. So again, he said they have done a mistake and all, but still, Lord is not forgetting they're my servant. He's saying, he says that, oh master, you said that those who commit offense to the Brahmanas commit offense to you. That's what you told, right? Why do you again show affection for these two people? The Lord says, I cannot control myself. It's not possible to give up my natural qualities of Bhakti Vasalyata. So they are ultimately my servant. Tanme sabhartur avasayam alakshamano yusmad vyatikram gatim pratipadya sadhya bhoyo mamantikamitam tadanuro anugraho me yat kalpatam achrato bratayor vivas.
This servant of mine have transgressed against you, not knowing the mind of their master. I shall therefore deem it a favor done to me if you order that, although reaping the fruit of their transgression, they may return to my presence soon, and the time of their exile from my abode may expire before long.
This purport gives rise to the millennium-old debate of from where do we come from. This is one of the most quoted purport by one side. From this statement, we can understand how anxious the Lord is to get his servitor back into Vaikuntha. This incident therefore proves those who once entered a Vaikuntha planet can never fall down. The case of Jay and Vijay is not a fall down, it's just an accident. The Lord is anxious to get such devotees back. It is to be assumed that there is no possibility of misunderstanding between the Lord and the devotee, but when there are discrepancies or disruption between one devotee and another, one has to suffer the consequences, although that suffering is temporary. The Lord is so kind that he took all the responsibility for the doorman's offense and requested the sages to give them facility to return to Vaikuntha as soon as possible. Why do you show affection to them? I cannot control myself. It's not possible to give up my natural qualities. Since this punishment is also my mercy to them, not punishment. May the two servants quickly live with me again. Vihasa. So important thing here is this. There is no possibility of misunderstanding between the Lord and the devotee. The Lord always understands our intention, action, all the thing. But when there are discrepancies or disruption between one and another, that means even with right intention, if you have displeased someone, then also we will have to suffer some consequences. It is not that we will be kicked out of bhakti, but some mental trouble or some issue will come. Lord understand that we did it right, but still that other devotee is also displeased for some reasons. So that's why one has to suffer the consequences for that. So one displeases the devotee, and it is not that one will lose bhakti unless it is done with a malicious intention. If it is a first offense, Vaishnava Aparadh. But even in the course of managing, in the course of dealing, if we displease devotees and we do not pay attention consciously to not really displease but to please them, then it causes consequences. Classical example is Akrura. So it is said in the section, when you read it later, you might have read on your own. In the section where Samantaka jewel story comes, there Jiva Goswami quotes that because Akrura went there to Vrindavan and he took Krishna away. And now why did he take Krishna away? Did he went on his own? Huh? Kamsa told him. And why Kamsa tell him? Why Kamsa told him? Who advised? Who advised? Who was the architect of the plan? Narad Muni. Narad Muni came to Kamsa. बहुत हो गया. तुम जिनको मारना चाहते हो उधर ही है, यही है, इसने सबको मारा, इनके पिताजी वसुदेव है, ये है, अक्रूर को भेजो लाने के लिए. Narad Muni wanted to see Mathura pastime now. उनको वृंदावन pastime मथुरा में देखना है अभी. Narad Muni was the one who told Kamsa. He told Kamsa what to do, and Kamsa sent Akrura. So Akrura was on duty. He did everything what was told to him as a part of Lord's mission. But still, he did not go out of the way to pacify the gopis. He just was focused on taking Krishna away to Mathura, which was a service, nothing wrong. But he did not go an extra mile to pacify the gopis and the Vrindavanvasis. And because of that, they were unhappy with him. They knew it is duty. It is not that they were immature, but out of affection for Krishna, they were. That unhappiness of gopis, that corrupted Akrura's mind, and that's why he got caught up into this Shamantaka jewel controversy. This is told by Jiva Goswami. So when we have issues with devotees, we should know that although Lord will not discard us, but Lord will not save us from the reaction which will come because of that. So it should be our constant and consistent endeavor to do our services in a way that we do not really go out of the way to displease someone. And if somebody gets displeased, we really patch it up at least. We give some prasad and some understanding that project was not my intent during the course of services. It happened like that. So we go a little extra mile to again make the relationship better. Otherwise, if we neglect it, then it may be very troublesome. So that's what Lord says. And then in next two verses, Lord is glorifying Lord's, Brahmaji is glorifying Lord's unique speech. We will discuss these two verses and we'll continue tomorrow because tomorrow's section is more of a storyline. So that's why I kept some verses here. Yes.
So Prabhuji's management seva is always very risky to in a devotee paradigm. You can be manager outside, but to be a manager or a leader inside a devotee community is very, very risky for devotional service.
It's very, very
risky for a devotional service.
That's why what we should do is we should do management along with communication.
Both?
Communication. We should do communication with management and management with communication. So whatever we explain why we are doing that, so then there's a big chance that devotees don't create perceptions and don't harbor things, right? Like, when we do crowd control, so on Isran Yatra day, I told, wow, there's going to be a lot of rush, queue, this, that, you come peacefully, come at this time, we'll have a special privilege for you. We announced. Now, even after announcing, if they want to be in the crowd, then what can be done? Rath Yatra day also, Pahandya announced. Don't come here, there is a lot of rush, we are not able to see who is where because it's just a mob kind of thing. But still, people want to touch palki. Sadai Prabhu's mother, she wanted to touch the palki. She fell. She broke her hip joint. Such a severe thing now. Surgery has to be performed. So if we have done our part, at least people understand that they announced. And they will say, आपने announcement सुना नहीं किया? नहीं, सुनने के बाद. अब सुनने के बाद भी नहीं किया तो किसका गलती? See, we cannot, like, we have limitation. The management has limitation. We cannot fully satisfy everyone. But if we are communicative, if we are very clear of why we are doing what we are doing, what policy is being made, what rule is being made, what system has been made, आज का प्रसाद 10 बजे होगा, क्यों होगा, अगर वो बता दिया, whatever little bit management which appears to disturb devotee, if we tell it in advance, then that takes a lot of care that people are not displeased. And also we should go an extra mile to see that we actually try to solve, like I was telling in Rath Yatra also. It's challenging to make a separate prasadam hall, na? Like chair लेके आओ, chair आता है भाड़े पे, टेबल आए, ये आए. इतना तक था कि अगर हमको लगा कि पत्तल दो दे रहे थे हम लोग, you might have seen ना, कि पत्तल अगर नहीं होगा तो हम स्टील का प्लेट लेके आएंगे. 6000 स्टील का प्लेट अरेंज किया था. बाद में सोचा इनको धोना और इनको ढोना दोनों ही मुश्किल है, भारी होता है. तो फिर दो पत्तल देंगे. Why? For making people comfortable. अभी ऊपर शेड लगाया, वेटिंग एरिया में भी पहले शेड नहीं था लास्ट ईयर. इस बार पूरा जो लाइन था, जहाँ पे लाइन लगता है, पूरा शेड था. So every year, actually I am not so sensitive, but the people with whom I work, they are ultra sensitive people. So every year they go little extra, little extra, little extra to see that we are serving well. So when people see that, even in the process of execution, if they have felt bad, overall they see that these people have a good thought. Maybe I just fell at the wrong place. And individually also we can, say it happens. प्रसाद का तो बहुत होता है, बट बाद में वो जाके प्रभु जी ऐसा है, सिस्टम बनाया है, ये कूपन, टोकन, ई पास, पता नहीं क्या क्या है. अब तो मेरा भी दिमाग घूमने लग गया उसमें. इतना कुछ हो गया है. So we should communicate our intentions and our actions, the reason behind our action, then the less chance. Individual level पे कुछ हो तो बाद में जाके थोड़ा प्रसाद वगैरह खिला देने का. But it's important. This is a part of Vaishnav culture. We cannot not do management, and while management we cannot please everyone. That's not possible. So what do? We struggle. That's all. And some reaction come, Krishna takes care. We are able to overcome. I mean, something तो होता है ना, कभी तबीयत खराब हो जाता है, तो जो भी है आता जरूर है. अगर वैष्णव लोग अगर खुश नहीं है तो थोड़ा बहुत भी, क्योंकि जो भी हो ना, हर एक जीवा के अंदर अपना शक्ति है ना श्राप देने की. तो कोई भी हो, छोटा हो, बड़ा हो, कलयुग का हो, सतयुग का हो, सतयुग वालों को ज्यादा शक्ति थी, और कलयुग के जीव के पास भी है. वो लगता है, कई बार आपने देखा होगा ना, कई बार जैसे कुछ किसी का कोई शोषण हो जाता है, चीटिंग हो जाता है, तो वो लोग बोलते हैं ना, तो क्या कहते हैं, बद्दुआ, बद्दुआ लग जाए. गांव में तो पहले से बोलते हैं तुम्हारे कीड़े पड़ जाएंगे, तुम्हारा सर्वनाश हो जाएगा, खानदान बर्बाद हो जाएगा, ऐसा बोलते हैं लोग बहुत. गांव वाले तो बहुत बोलते हैं. नहीं, गांव में जाके कुछ अगर कोई नाराज हो गया, तो पूरा ऐसे ही गाली देंगे, इसका बेटा मर जाए, पति मर जाए, ये हो जाए, वो हो जाए. And if the person actually does wrong, over a period of time, some of those things may happen also. But if we are doing our best and devotee is unreasonable, then that other example is given, that vulture के कर्ज से गाय नहीं मरता है. So we are talking of people who are sincerely trying to practice, but still, because this is a samsara where the bamboos rub against each other and some sparks come out. ऐसा कुछ हो गया तो थोड़ा सा, both sides have to be sober, that part. Because Vaishnava is one who never thinks of personal convenience at all. That's the Vaishnava. But we are all work in progress, so उसको भी थोड़ा, उसको भी लग जाता है, और ये भी करना नहीं चाहता, ये भी थोड़ा ना कंडीशन नेचर में थोड़ा स्ट्राइक हो जाता है इसके लिए.
तो जी मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि as we see this is the most razor edge seva management. So what inspired people to become managers then?
People do
Become managers. This is the most risky seva.
आपका सेवा है,
I'm asking from your side.
आपका सेवा है लोगों को मैनेजर बनाने का.
नहीं. Why people still become managers knowing that this is a very risky seva, but they see the benefit in this?
No. In management,
It's emotional level, not in some privileges. Yeah.
see, the point is, because we have an institution, someone has to do management. It cannot be not done. So based on, the order and instruction and the shelter one may feel, and also people have proclivities. You don't make manager also, there are some people who will come out anyway to manage. वो नहीं बनाएंगे तो और ज्यादा क्या होगा. कुछ लोगों का गुण भी रहता है, उनको डर नहीं लगता है, तो लगता है कर लेंगे प्रभु जी, बताओ क्या करना है, क्या किसको तलवार किधर चलाना है, बताओ. सम पीपल आर देयर, लाइक क्राउड कंट्रोल में आप 10 अपॉइंट करो, 10 अपने आप आ जाते हैं. प्रसाद सर्विंग में भी 10 का काउंट रहता है और 5-6 लोग अपने आप खड़े रहते हैं, कहाँ से आते हैं कब जाते हैं पता नहीं, लेकिन वो आते हैं क्योंकि उनको वो सेवा है. तो people have proclivities also, there's a need of institution also, but one should do it carefully under guidance. If one is told to do, one should do. If one is not told to do, one can do some other services. But otherwise देखो, थोड़ा बहुत मैनेजमेंट तो सबको करना ही पड़ता है, अपना लाइफ ही मैनेज करना होता है ना. भाई आप बाथरूम में गए, किसी ने गंदा पानी छोड़ दिया, किसी ने कपड़े छोड़ दिए, तो भी आपको, अभी मैनेजर नहीं भी हो तो भी आपको बोलना तो पड़ेगा ना उसको, किसने छोड़ा है क्या किया, तो वहां भी हो सकता है. When we are living with devotees, it is not only that the management only is risky or any problem, just every interaction has some managerial part of that, ना. कपड़े धोना है, शूज जगह पे रखना है, सोने का चटाई उठा के रखना है, शेड्यूल ऑफ सर्विस है. आप सर्विस भी कर रहे हैं तो हम सर्विस नहीं करेंगे तो भी हमारा इंचार्ज जाके बोलेगा ना. तो मैनेजमेंट तो पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ है. व्हेन वी आर लिविंग देयर इज मैनेजमेंट इन्वॉल्व इन दैट. But yes, to still take certain roles where you have to deal with many people, with many things, that one can take as per one's capacity, inclination, and if one finds that repeatedly is getting disturbed and people are not happy, then one can request also. But Sundarsham Prabhuji was manager for some days only. No managers, so Raisham told, okay, manage. And then 4 or 5 days, both party realized that it's better that, because he's very sharp, he's strict and sharp, but मैनेजमेंट ऐसा नहीं होता है ना. आपको लोगों को थोड़ा तो you have to deal with them in a little way that spiritually no problem, whatever he says right, but management में right thing has to be done in the right way also. Things may be right, but the right way takes a lot of time. Instant way doesn't take time. So many, Revati Nandan Prabhu was there in 2013 when he opened the temple. We gave him 3 departments. 3 days later he came, I surrender. मेरे को पढ़ने दो, भागवत कथा करने दो. Vehicle department दिया था. So there are some people who will just really get totally in turmoil seeing that, and they will realize that. Chaitanya Prabhu was giving Mayapur voice. I was the PM or something there. किया 1 महीने तक, बस कर बोले हम. Traveling, preaching, writing, बैठे. So if it is not our nature, it will come out very distinctly. It will just be totally like fish out of water in that situation. और ऐसा है कि अपना भी थोड़ा बहुत किया है, मैनेजर चल जाता है, ज्यादा इतना नहीं है, अपने को थोड़ा ये नरिशमेंट मिल जाता है. Because the advantage of management is that we get to serve all the customers, we get senior association, we get to realize shastras. अब मुझे किधर टाइम मिलता है? सुबह में 9 बजे क्लास करके एकदम प्रसाद लेकर के उसमें 2-3 फोन कॉल अटेंड करके फिर पढ़ा मैं सारा का सारा. लेकिन फिर भी अब पसीना नहीं आता 3 घंटा बोलने के लिए, ऑनेस्टली, क्योंकि पहले पढ़ा है, समझा है, एंड समहाउ कृष्णा मैनेजेस इन अ वे दैट आई रियली लर्न समथिंग फॉर माई सेल्फ. पता है आप लोगों का तो कितना सेवा हो रहा है, लेकिन अपना तो 3 घंटा तो बिना मोबाइल के बैठ रहा हूँ. सो आई टेक इट एज beneficial thing for myself. So we do get a lot of blessings also. It's not just it's a curse. We do get. If one does any service sincerely for that reason, as per whatever capacity he may have, we will get realizations. It is not just by reading one gets. One may get exact same realization and thoughts. By Krishna's grace, because Paramatma ही है ना सब जगह. If one renders service nicely, Tesham Satata Yuktanam. Prabhupada writes in the purport, if somebody does not have the capacity to read the books given by the spiritual master, but if he is engaged in all kinds of service without reservation, these are the words he used. All kinds of services without reservation, choice nahi, and with the bhav of priti, the desire to please, then you'll get all of it. The Lord has to be pleased. It may be pleased by any other means also, based on our capacity and skill. तो अगर हमको जमता है तो करते, अगर लग रहा है कि नहीं इतना नहीं जम रहा है तो जिस लेवल का जमता है उस लेवल का कर सकते हैं. Somebody else will do it, not. But it has to be done. And risk is there in every way. रिस्क कहाँ नहीं, रिस्क तो हर जगह है. आप भगवान के ऑल्टर में आरती भी कर रहे हैं ना, आप में से ज्यादा लोग नहीं करते, मैं करता हूँ, तो भी रिस्क रहता है. आप गौर आरती के टाइम में इधर घूमेंगे तो यू मे गेट bewildered. ऑल पूरा फैशन से उधर ही आ जाता है ऑल्टर पे. रिस्क इज नॉट देयर. Pujaris as a class are the most changing brahmacharis in the entire ISKCON world. भगवान के साथ रहते हैं, फिर भी माया से इतना आकर्षण हो जाता है. भगवान के साथ रहते हैं माया को भी आकर्षक लगते हैं पुजारी लोगों से. भगवान के इतना नजदीक है, बहुत पुजारी चेंज करता है. तो रिस्क तो हर जगह, आप कुछ करो तो भी रिस्क है, कुछ नहीं करो तो भी रिस्क है. वो रिस्क को समझ के शास्त्र पढ़ के और सीनियर डिवोटीज का आज्ञा, आई मीन देयर परमिशन, ब्लेसिंग्स, everything. Then nowhere will there no risk. Material world is a place of risk. Anything you do or not do. But we have to be extra careful थोड़ा माथा ठंडा रखने का, साधना करने का, थोड़ा सत्संग करने का, ज़्यादा कंसल्टेशन करने का, ज़्यादा पॉजिटिवनेस नहीं आना चाहिए कि नहीं मेरा ही है, मैं करूँ। थोड़ा थोड़ा कर दिया, कभी कभी चीज़ें आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल चली जाती है, एक टाइम के बाद छोड़ देने का, अगले साल देखेंगे। मैं तो ऐसे ही करता हूँ, बहुत ज़्यादा अगर आउट ऑफ ऑर्डर चला गया चीज़, शुरू में तो मैनेज करता हूँ, एक बार लगा कि लाइन में ये घुस गया, वो घुस गया, ये हो रहा है, तो देन आई गो अवे फ्रॉम द सिचुएशन। मैं रहूंगा तो फिर आई विल शाउट, बाद में मीटिंग में आएगा, अकेला तो मैं हूं नहीं। Another thing is we should not manage alone. We should have some team where reporting is there, some committee. It's very safe. जिससे कि हम लोगों से तुरंत गाइडेंस ले सकते हैं, लोगों का व्यूज पूछ सकते हैं। वी आर अलोन पर्सन मैनेजिंग, डिसाइडिंग एवरीथिंग, एग्जीक्यूटिंग, इट्स वेरी रिस्की एंड वेरी टैक्सिंग। तो मेरा तो क्या है, आई एम गुड टीम वर्कर, दैट्स माई स्ट्रेंथ। आई वर्क इन टीम ओनली। कुछ भी है तो इधर लक्ष्मण प्रभु, श्री बाबा से प्रभु है, उधर जयदेव प्रभु, शंकर पंडित प्रभु है, उधर अपना राष्ट्रपाल प्रभु, स्वेदी प्रभु है। नेवर वर्क अलोन इन एनी सिस्टम। डीटी में भी कौस्तु प्रभु है, शिवानी प्रभु, एवरीवेयर आई हैव पीपल। आई नेवर एक्सर्ट दैट position wala thing I am bigger than with them. If there is a need, then I do take a role what I'm supposed to, but otherwise, so these are few things which we can try. That is safe. Okay. उनका एक क्वेश्चन दे दो। Okay.
I got
So
almost.
continue tomorrow from verse 13, because tomorrow is a storyline, so I have some flexibility. Tomorrow we'll be able to sing whole Sadhu Goswami Ashtakam also. And
My question's answer almost I got. But my question was that some people are unreasonable. They are dissatisfied with in every situation.
Correct.
And with any devotee, they are always dissatisfied, and they sometimes curse also. Sometimes they curse also. So the point is, even means with good intentions, they are dissatisfied. Still, we have to suffer. That point came. Then you also said that Shakunare Sape Guru Marena. That is there. So then I understood. But point is, means if the people have the tendency to be dissatisfied every time, and there is not a scope to pacify that person also. So still we get karma or what?
We should not label them as perpetually dissatisfied people. Sometimes their dissatisfaction may be genuine because of something. At times it may be unreasonable also, I do agree. There are some unreasonable people. But even unreasonable people, at times they may have reason. So what we should be thoughtful about is we should not label them. ये ऐसा ही है. So sometimes they may have a really good sense of reasoning of what they are saying. So we should not permanently label them. If we permanently label them, then we will be getting that reaction. But if permanently don't label them, and if there is something they are saying, we hear it, then we realize कि अरे ये capacity से बाहर का है, unreasonable, leave it. And we can confirm with someone else, प्रभुजी ऐसा बोल रहे हैं, reasonable है, unreasonable है. But sometimes they may be reasonable. That time we should act. And if we do that, they will gain trust on us that this person does things thoughtfully. And they will stop criticism also, they will change also. Krishna will make us an instrument to change them. But if we label ना, इससे सुनना ही नहीं है, ये ऐसा ही है, ये गलत, then we are not playing our role properly. Then we are becoming judgmental. So we have to be a little open and see case to case. They may have some good point. Even in the, like they may say 10 things, 1, 2 things may be really, like the one devotee who wrote a long mail, campus में क्या चल रहा है, लड़का लड़की साथ में घूम रहा है, ऐसा ड्रेस वैसा ड्रेस, ये वो सब. I mean, he has all time of the world, first of all. He's just free person, so he has a lot of time to give inputs. तो भी वो रेशम को लिखा, फिर मैंने उसका रिप्लाई लिखा. फाइनली ये हुआ कि हम लोग दोपहर को टेम्पल बंद करेंगे, जिससे कि दोपहर में जो सिक्योरिटी नहीं रहता है और लड़के लड़की जरूरत बैठे रहते हैं, तो दोपहर को एटलीस्ट बाहर ही बैठेंगे, गेट के बाहर. तो एट आवर टेम्पल कैंपस विल बी प्योर एंड they are all sitting together ना, so they can't do any nonsense. Here क्या है, कैंपस के अंदर कोई बालाजी में बैठ गया, कोई लिफ्ट की साइड बैठ गया, lot of things. तो the whole discussion at least came to this conclusion and then he was happy. At least कुछ तो हुआ. फिर बोर्ड लगाया, देखा आपने बोर्ड लगा हुआ है, ऐसा मत करो. लंबा सा बोर्ड है, कौन पढ़ता है पता नहीं, लेकिन हमने लिख तो दिया है सब कुछ उसके ऊपर. रायशा ने खुद लिखा है. तो हमने ड्यूटी किया तो उनको ये आ गया कि भाई अभी चीज बंद हो या नहीं हो, लेकिन they have considered and they have done something. So please understand that in one's own eyes, no person in this world is unreasonable. No person in this world is proud. No one in their own perspective. And no one is offensive. No one is wrong. That is their own perspective. Now, we may agree or not agree, that's a different thing. But that's how they look at themselves. So we have to value that and we have to see the value in terms of the exact case. क्या बोल क्या रहे हैं वो सुनना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं कि बिना सुने ही रिजेक्ट कर देना चाहिए. Then we will be liable to suffer the reactions for that. सुन के कुछ किया, अब हमारा कैपेसिटी में इतना कर पाए और दूसरे को ऊपर बोल दिया भाई इतना ही हम कर पा रहे हैं, आप उनको बोल देंगे प्रभु जी हमने इतना किया, अभी आप ऊपर वालों को मेल लिखो. ऊपर ऊपर वाला हमको सीसी में रखो, सीसी सीसी को वो बोलते हैं ना, सीसी पीओसी आईसी, नहीं तो बीसीसी बट टू टू को बढ़ा दो, टू को ऊपर कर दो. ओके वी स्टॉप हियर. You have a question? Last question. Which one?
One place punishment is greater than infamy. In
Where is that? Which verse is that?
fourth verse.
Fourth verse.
Lord has no punishment.
Fourth verse, you know,
That I didn't
Lord is saying that I committed an offense. So the Kumaras are asking that, okay, then what? Who can give you punishment? Can anyone punish you? If you commit the mistake also, you commit the offense also, is there anyone who can? Because you are saying the offense of the servant is your offense. Okay, then what is the punishment? Who can punish you? Lord says, I become ill-famous. My kirti gets down. I mean, I become ill-famous. That then Prabhupada write that purport that master, you know, we should be very careful because when we commit a mistake, our master will get ill-fame. So Lord is saying, because of my servant, I become ill-famous. That is my punishment. That ill-fame is my punishment. So that's how he says that I can't be punished in that way, but because servant hai, kiska servant hai, so that's why Prabhupada takes the purport that, and he wrote also our Panushan prove that Pratyega doshe Swami dosha or Swami dandas, like that he says. Okay, so thank you very much. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tomorrow we will have the concluding session for this month's sessions. And tomorrow we have 30 verses there and almost 25 verses here, this chapter, 37 verses. So I think longest day, but we will cover because there's a lot of storyline tomorrow. There are no purports in many of the verses. It's just Hiranyaksh arrogance is being reflected. So there are not many purports there. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. 5 days, 15 hours. 15 hours, your studies and my father. 15 hours here? 15 hours. Big. In Bhakti, I am not in any course, no? Not in any course. I got the habit of either speaking or either hearing so long. Only Priti Vardhanam classes only.